Be cool, be kind, be classy. The cupcakes so sweet and sexy. Have fun and enjoy the journey. Just have a good attorney. No big whoop, no biggie. She lives near New York City. And not just a YouTube show. When you know, you better grab a straw. Learn about the law. It's cool here in the shade, sipping motions of lemonade. Cool heads will prevail, kindness will never fail. Be classy and vastly wise. Oh, Melanie Little is going live. Oh no, where is Melanie? Follow the island's melody. Is a concert within reach. No surprise, she's at Jones Beach. She heard some music far away. Captain Jack Stack Harbor Bay. He sings and his piano plays. Not all sounds are waterways. Speaking Yiddish and Latin, it's not just for Manhattan. It's for Goethe and Meshegas. Ridiculous that insanus. Oy vey, Marcus. Proset, that's for schmucks. Be cool, be kind, be classy. My cupcakes sweet and sassy. And not just a YouTube show. When you know. Cool heads will prevail. Kindness will never fail. Be classy and vastly wise. Melanie Little is going live.
Hello again. Hello again. Today's Thursday, July 17th, 2025, and we're back for the afternoon stream because you guys were so amazing this morning. I brought to your attention on a deeper dive than I did the first day that I brought to your attention the Aaron Spencer case out of Arkansas. And you guys raised, let me get a final tally on this, over $5,000 for the family of Aaron Spencer in something like 3 hours, because that's how amazing you are. When somebody else needs freeing, we got to get on it. We ain't got no quit. And Aaron Spencer needs to be freed. And it's a horrific story out of Arkansas. I'll give you a little rundown. We did a full 3.5-hour rundown this morning. Crazy. You guys ain't got no quit. I mean, we gotta turn all this positive energy and we gotta focus it into freeing someone else. Turtle Boy will also be freed, but Aaron Spencer, his trial is coming up soon. Aaron Spencer is a 36-year-old combat veteran in Arkansas whose daughter was essayed and actually raped by a 67-year-old man named Michael Fossler. He was arrested. He was let on a $5,000 bail, and 4 months later, he kidnapped the daughter and took her. 13 years old. The dad runs out of the house, finds him, coincidentally, in a truck with his daughter in the passenger seat, runs them off the road, and saves his daughter. But in the process, a struggle ensues and he shoots the guy, Michael Fossler, who happens to be, oh, you guessed it, a former police chief from Indiana. You just can't make it up. We went over the whole story this morning. It's horrific. There was a gag order on the case. Same judge that let Fossler out of jail is the same judge who issued the gag order on the Aaron Spencer case because nobody wants you to know about it. It's disgusting. Oh, I'm well aware of the Madeline Soto case, but I can't cover it. Thank you. No, I'm very aware of it, but that case revolts me even more than this one. But here's the thing. They're now charging the father, Aaron Spencer, with second-degree murder in a guy who perhaps maybe needed killing. I'm not sure. There seems to be a lot of corruption in Arkansas, because if you thought Norfolk County was bad and Massachusetts, if you thought Massachusetts was bad, come on down to Arkansas and see all the things that we discovered this morning. But thanks to you guys, you raised over $5,000 for the family, and you're amazing. You're amazing. But anyway, we got a lot of other things to talk about because every single time we try and talk about a different case, inevitably the chat gets distracted and always wants to talk about Karen Reed, and we'll always be talking about Karen Reed because this is the case that will keep on giving for a very, very long time, in my opinion. And so there are things and stuff that we haven't had a chance to go over that happened on Karen Reed. And we also have some breaking news on Kelsey Fitzsimmons, whose case we started covering. Also, I can't even remember yet when, because all the cases are blending together. She's the North Andover police officer that was out on maternity leave, undergoing severe postpartum depression or postpartum psychosis. And when her fellow North Andover police officers went to her house to serve her with a restraining order that her fiance / baby daddy, which I hate that term, filed against her, they shot her in the chest. And she is in the hospital. She's represented by Tim Bradl. We're going to get into that in a minute. They have suspended her from the force because, you just can't make it up. Because you just can't. We're going to get to that. She's also released a statement. Thank you, Elaine, for sending that to me. Just Machado posted it. We're going to try and stay on topic as best we can because, as you know, we always get up into like 500 side conversations in the chat. There's like always 5 conversations going on at once. And I was glad that Defense Diaries picked it up because I told you guys about it when we did this stream on James Craig. And we looked at that TikTok and I'm like, I got to get into this. It's crazy, this Aaron Spencer case. And then I heard that somebody told Defense Diaries in their chat about it. And then they covered it last night. I didn't watch it. So I don't know if they did the same thing I did today or something different, whatever. The more eyes on this case, the better. But anyway, let's get back to Karen Reed. Because, grifters got to keep grifting. This was posted on July 13th. As much as I hate to give this guy FaceTime, many of you have asked, who's Yellow Cottage Cheese? Here he is. And, grifters got to keep grifting. So listen to what he posted on his channel on the 13th, which was like a couple days ago.
That I believed that they would continue to try to make all the people that have been making money and popularity on this. We're not going to stop. You're not going to see Turtle Boy or Melanie or Young Jerks, all these cowardly people that don't have any interest in the truth. You're not going to see.
I'm sorry. Did he just call me a coward? Did he just call me cowardly? Who's making money off Karen Reed, Kevin, Plevin, whatever your name is? You wrote a book on the Karen Reed case, dude. You wrote a book on it. And I'm a cowardly grifter. Okay, we got to roll this back because somebody posted this and it's fantastic. And I'm a grifter. Trust me, Kevin, your buddies doxed me on Twitter when I started talking about this case. Your buddy Jennifer Coffendorfer tried to make me look like a jerk on court TV because I said that I did not think Don O'Keefe's injuries were caused by a car, because based on my 3 decades of experience handling thousands of motor vehicle accident cases, those are not injuries sustained in a pedestrian versus motor vehicle car accident. They're just not. Guess who else agreed with me? Oh, just a whole bunch of expert witnesses and a jury. 2 juries. But I'm the grifter. Okay. He wrote a book. Auntie Deb, if you're not following Auntie Deb's morning show, I don't know what the hell you're doing, because that's fantastic. They're doing summer reading and they're reading like a chapter of his book a day. And he actually called Nicole Albert said something like, she is the face of Irish poverty for generations. Like, he calls her poor face. He called her Irish poor face. He kind of looks like a melted Chris Albert. This is Lucy. Okay, I'm the grifter. You wrote a book. I'm sorry nobody's bought it except for Auntie Deb, who apparently paid $25 for the book. But Let's listen to this because it's only like a minute long, and then we can take that face off the screen because I can't stand it.
That I believed that they would continue to try to make all the people that have been making money and popularity on this. We're not going to stop. You're not going to see Turtle Boy or Melanie or Young
Melanie?
Jerks, all these cowardly people that don't have any interest in
Cowardly.
the truth. You're not going to see them stop trying to get more out of this, right? Of course not. They're going to continue to grift on it.
Yeah, grift. We're
That's just what they
grifting.
do. Why would they stop if they're still getting stuff?
Why
That
would we?
I believed that they would continue to try to make all the people that have been making money and popularity on this. We're not going to stop. You're not going to
Popularity.
see Turtle Boy or Melanie or Young Jerks, all
I guess
these
it's not a loop.
cowardly people.
I'm cowardly. I brought attention to this case by covering it when nobody else would. I don't think any other law tubers were talking about it when I started in January of 2024. Went on Court TV twice. Jennifer Coffendover tried to make a fool out of me. So you know what I did? I went out and found Garrett Wing. And I had Garrett Wing come on my show and talk about why those injuries were dog bites. And so I took a lot of heat for covering this case. It wasn't for clicks and likes because you know what? I'm a little too old to care about that. I don't care about that. Brought attention to the case. Just like I brought attention to Aaron Spencer this morning, and the cupcakes raised $5,000 for the family. So, you know, there's that. Who's grifting? This is the man in the attic. Yes. Look at the paneling. Look at the wicker. He lives in his mother's attic. He has a show that nobody watches. And I'm really sorry that nobody watches your show. But no, I'm not sorry. Like, I don't care that nobody watches your show because what you spew is nonsense. And you have Mafia Masshole on your show as a guest the other day. And so this is hilarious. It's hilarious. But I just thought, let's play that as an intro because, you know, we got to keep grifting off the Karen Reed case. Not like I don't have a million other things to talk about and do. But, you know, you go on with your bad self because you're still talking about it too. Like, what? So crazy, isn't it? All right. Something else that we didn't cover. I'm sure this has already been debunked, but there was a rumor going around that Judge Cannone was transferred to Plymouth Superior Court civil session, and that all of a sudden she's going to be assigned to Karen Reed's civil case. And it's not. I'm going to give him time. Don't tell me what to. First of all, don't tell me what to do because the second you tell me what to do, I'm going to do the opposite. Number one. Number two. People that do things like this need to be called out for it. We cannot allow this type of behavior to continue. We cannot allow people to come out under fake names and fake personas, like they're big, bad, you know, attacking people under sock puppet accounts, 20 or 50 of them, or which maybe, you know, McCabe's or Alberts behind fake names, and attack people and dox them and come after jurors and all those other things and allow them to go unchecked. So I'm not going to ignore it. I am going to call people out on it, just as I do when people in the chat say nasty things to me. I'm going to put it up on the screen and I'm going to give them the attention that they think they deserve because there needs to be ramifications for people's behavior. There just does. There just needs to be ramifications for their behavior. And so let me see something. Here's the tweet that started it all, I think, anyway. I think. And this is from the 14th. See, look, what day is it? It's only the 17th. We have so much to catch up on. But I'm going to call out every single one of them. Because what they did to me on Twitter was vile. I had an old Twitter account that I didn't even use. And I just went off Twitter. I'm like, who needs this? And I'm calling it Twitter. I don't care. Don't come into my comments and say, you're so stupid. I can't take you seriously. I'm unsubscribing because you still call it Twitter and it makes you sound stupid. I don't care. I'm too old to care. It will be Twitter forever to me because X is a stupid name. It has nothing to do with my politics. Don't come into my comments and say, I know who you must have voted for because you said the stupid thing about Twitter. No, I stay away from politics on my channel. I stay away from politics in life. There needs to be ramifications for behavior. Okay. And I don't feel like it's my job to tell everyone how they should conduct themselves, but they make it my business when they come for me on Twitter and my family. So anyway, enough about that. Here's the tweet that I think started it all by somebody named Sober Lawyer, recovered Massachusetts trial lawyer. Breaking, Judge Beverly Cannone has been transferred to Plymouth Superior Court civil session, same court where Paul O'Keefe's wrongful death action against Karen Reed's case is pending. Coincidence or not? And this is posted a couple of days ago. This is the Superior Court monthly judicial assignments. Wait, where did that go? Here's the monthly judicial assignments. And this, what do we say? Plymouth County. And it says that it's from April 7th to May 2nd, but nothing new has been posted since then. So let's go to Plymouth County and we will see that Judge Cannone has now been assigned apparently to Brockton Civil Court A. Okay, courtroom 5. Coincidentally, also where Judge Frenier is sitting, but she's overseeing the Brian Walsh criminal case. So I don't know what the hell goes on in Massachusetts because, like I say, every time in New York, we vote for our judges. Oh, Emily is here. Hi, Emily, said Poor Face. Yeah, Poor Face is what Kevin, whatever his name is, Yellow Cottage Cheese, called Nicole Albert, like literally said she had the face of like 1,000 generations of poor Irish people in poverty. Like it was crazy. Okay, so here it is. This is on the Mass Court's website. Judge Cannone is now assigned to Brockton Civil A. But you will also see that the judge assigned to Karen Reed's civil case, or she's a defendant in, is Daniel O'Shea. I do not see that changing. The face of Irish poverty, is that the exact quote? The face of Irish poverty. And so I do not see any world in which Judge Cannone would ever be assigned as the judge in the Karen Reed civil case. That would be, just a little bit of a conflict. And Narnia County, Massachusetts, that's exactly what it was. But apparently they rotate these judges all the time. Here's how it works in New York. In New York, we elect our judges and we elect them to the criminal court. And we elect them to civil court. And we elect them to family court. And there they sit for their entire term. We do not shuffle them around like priests to other divisions and other courts and have them hear all kinds of cases, because we elect them based on their qualifications and their experience in either usually being an attorney in the field of law in which they're elected to serve as a judge in. Like, for example, Beverly Cannone, from what I understand, was a public defender. Why is she hearing civil cases? This is what I don't understand. They should get prosecutors and criminal defense attorneys as judges in the criminal court, and they should get civil litigators and defense attorneys who defend insurance companies to come in and be judges in civil court. So I don't know what's going on there. They shuffle them around like priests, but I don't see any world in which she's ever going to sit on the wrongful death case brought by the O'Keefes against Karen Reed, the Waterfall, and C.F. McCarthy's. But just so I can show that to you, because I know you guys like receipts, as do I will show you that so far the case is still assigned to Judge O'Shea. Oh, really? Did they make me like, okay, select all the squares with fire hydrants? It's like Fort Knox trying to get into this Mass Court's website. If you know, you know. Some courts are so much easier than others to get records from, including Arkansas, where we were this morning, except for when they seal the case. Hang on. And so I like to deal in facts, and I hate when I see misinformation out there, so I like to correct it. Some people would say that story about the grand juror is also misinformation, but it hasn't been proven yet, so let's wait and see. Hello. Hello, my friend. Oh, there we go. Do, 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 do. She was always, she was going to move to civil a while ago. You're absolutely right. And here, I'll share this with you. The next conference in the civil case is September 22nd, 2025 at 2 p.m. And for some reason, it's going to be in the criminal courtroom 4 in Plymouth. Oops. I'm going to swipe myself out. Instead, I just swipe myself out of the. Go to events. You look at 9/22/25 at 2 p.m. There's going to be a conference to review the status of the case, and that is going to be held in front of Judge Daniel O'Shea. So I do not see any world in which this case will ever be transferred to Judge Cannone. That is my personal opinion. See if anything new has been filed in this case. While we're here, might as well look. Yeah, the motion to dismiss, just the notice of the motion to dismiss, and the way they do it in Massachusetts is everything is filed together as one package, the motion and then the opposition. I don't know. Don't ask me. I didn't make the rules. I didn't make the rules. So that's all there is to report so far on the wrongful death case. Karen. Some people said she's added some new attorneys to her defense team. I say, yes, she has. And I said that perhaps they were her excess insurance carrier coming in. She's not paying for a defense team in the civil case because she has car insurance. And when you have car insurance, they appoint attorneys to represent you if you get sued. And so they're appointed. She doesn't have to pay them. And then I imagine because she owned a house and she was financially savvy, she likely had an umbrella policy, and that may be the excess carrier that has come in. Her civil attorney, people are saying, yeah, but her civil attorney was interviewed by Larry, the DUI guy. I would like to point out that I did listen to that interview, and the attorney that was interviewed by Larry actually represents Bill and Janet Reed. Okay. Because they needed to file a protective order to not take the depositions of Bill and Janet Reed while the criminal case was still pending. And so that attorney that Larry interviewed, I believe, is the attorney for Bill and Janet Reed. But if she sold her house, would she still have that? Yes, because the insurance that you had on the date of the incident is the insurance that governs. So whatever insurance company or companies covered Karen on January 29th of 2022 are the insurance companies that would be defending. That's the way it works. Got a lot of claims adjusters in here too. And you guys are amazing. You guys have said that you never would have paid on this claim because there was no car accident. There was also no police accident report that I've ever seen. So there's that. You're welcome. Amy, what you gonna do? What you gonna do when they come for you? Again, we're not, if we could stay on topic, that'd be so great. People say great interview with Billy Bush and Bill Reed. I'm not gonna give my opinions on that. I thought there were some questions that were a little not very sensitive. But that's my opinion. Scooter 54 and all right, whatevs. Now he also represents Karen. I don't know. Karen's attorneys are hired by her insurance company. So I don't know about that. I don't know about that. Please, unless you are 100% sure of something, like you've got receipts, you're personally involved, the misinformation that spreads in the chat like wildfire is really, it's really upsetting. Because then people believe it. And then they say, Melanie reported this and Melanie did not report this. Melanie's reading receipts for the most part. Next. Okay, what? Why is that not coming up? I do all this homework, I link all these things, and then for some reason, sometimes the links don't work. All right, let me try this. Oh, you know why? Because I had it in reader mode. We'll get to that in a second. Here's some interesting news broke by Laura Alessi the other day, Bob Alessi's daughter. This was on the 13th. Check this out.
Hi, everybody. I'm here with an update on the podcast. The production team's working on it. I'm very excited about it. It's coming along good. It's taking some time because after the Karen Reed trial, I had to go back, catch up on other cases and other clients. I'm looking forward to connecting with everybody soon, hopefully with some very interesting topics. Stay tuned.
Cool.
Hi, everybody. I'm here with an update on the
Oh,
podcast.
it's on a loop. So it seems that Bob Alessi is starting a podcast. I don't know if it's with his daughter. I don't know if it's with David Yannetti. I don't know nothing about nothing, except that was posted by Laura Alessi a couple of days ago. So if you didn't know, Laura says in her tweet, an update from the source. So there you have it. There you have it. That'll be very interesting. Love to see Bob Alessi talk about mostly anything. Right? So that's fun. Here's a story that I think we should go to just for the comments. Somebody sent this to me. You guys are so collaborative or collaborative. See if I can full screen this for you. Okay. Anybody out there looking for a job? Well, if you're looking for a job, the Massachusetts State Police is hiring. Here's what they say. Oh, wait a second. We got to go for the comments because it's fantastic. Oh, man. Hold on. Here we go. Massachusetts State Police posted this on July 14th at 2:46 p.m. If you're looking to make a difference in your community, consider becoming a state trooper. The civil service exam will be held September 17th to 19th. Applications will be accepted until August 7th. To connect with a recruiter, text MA Trooper to this number. And the comments are really the best. Training like Swoopa Paul's training in accident reconstruction and physics? Will all cruisers be equipped with a leaf blower? Asking for a friend. Can't. I scored too high on the IQ test. You can't make it up. Let's see. Let's see what the most engaging comments are. So I hear you offer overtime. Do they teach you how to search for nudes? Learn to smash taillights. Only if Lucky is the commander, the only way anyone is signing up at this point. I'm pretty good at not following the law, so where do I sign up? Nothing competes with the benefit of turning on sirens to get away from traffic. I heard one of the questions on the exam is, do you have a weird Fall River accent? Oh my. But will I be provided a dictionary? I want to be just like Trooper Paul. That guy's the most stand-up and intelligent guy on the force. I'll sign up when Trooper Paul learns what kinematics is. Is overtime available or do we just take it? So what exactly is the regs regarding drinking on duty? Do I need to lock my weapon in the glove box first? Or don't worry in case I need it? It's okay to drive my vehicle home after, as long as I put on the lights and sirens so everyone pulls over and I drive fast to get home quick. At least they leave the comments up. Massachusetts Department of Correction blocks the comments. How long is the training? And will I survive fight night? I mean, why they all look like they want to write you a ticket? Come for the comments and was not disappointed. Oh, here's James. James is always in my chat. He says, if you get through the academy without them killing you. Yeah, when are we going to get a report on Enrique Delgado Garcia, by the way? I heard the OT is good. I might apply. I'm not really that corrupted though. Will you train me on that? You guys, this is the comedy gold. Go for the comments. I don't know how many comments there are, but it looks like a lot. And that is on Fakebook, which I don't like or use really, but it's 1,900 comments. Because, it's like the gift that keeps giving. Massachusetts State Police. The comments did not disappoint. No, they didn't. It's PJ became a new member. Thank you. Welcome. Jojo says, okay, as someone who didn't see the first trial and the documentary, when I started watching the second trial, I only saw the science and experts because it's more accurate. Science wasn't there for the Commonwealth. We are not a hive mind. Right. FFS. 100%. Thanks, Jojo. You've been in here all day. You've been hanging around me all day, Jojo. I like it. Thanks for your 20. Clamasues says, no concern as Karen's case is in Plymouth. Daniel O'Shea is an excellent judge. Wow. I subscribed in 2023. Been here for a long time, 18 months. We're having our second anniversary on July 23rd. I may be with my boyfriend, Dave Matthews, that night, but we need to have a celebration because we need to celebrate the 100K and we need to have an unboxing of the silver play button. Right? Mike B from the 4013 says, as part of Kelsey Fitzsimmons' case, I would look at MGL, section this, and this. These should be applicable to the affidavit the fiance filed for the order. I think a deep dive of 12A may compare to Karen Reed. Oh, yeah, Mike, there's a lot of things. There's a lot of things that upset me about Kelsey Fitzsimmons. And you're on a couple of them. Onto a couple of them. All right. Where's that dopey Fox News article? Hold on, because I got to find it because it's about Karen Reed landing a lucrative book deal. Hold on. And how all of the victims are the victims, how the witnesses are the victims. One moment. I mean, it popped up even in the New York Post for me, which is like crazy because the New York Post, aside from the one article they quoted me in on Karen Reed, they didn't do a whole lot of coverage on Karen Reed. Here it is. This was an article on Fox News. Ridiculous. Now that you guys taught me how to use reader mode, I'm never going back. This was the 13th. Ooh, what did I say today was? I don't know. This was a couple days ago, but we haven't covered it together. So let's cover it because I know you guys love to talk about this stuff and we're never stopping. All right. Karen Reed lands lucrative book deal while witnesses face continued harassment after acquittal. Why does Kerry Roberts keep talking to the press? And there's a photo of Karen Reed taking out the trash behind a Boston hotel. Newly cleared Karen Reed spotted outside her Boston hotel shortly after jurors found her not guilty of murder and manslaughter charges in the death of her boyfriend, John O'Keefe. Life is moving on for all the key players except John O'Keefe's family after a Massachusetts jury found his former girlfriend, Karen Reed, not guilty of all homicide-related charges in his death outside a midnight house party during a blizzard on January 29th of 2022. O'Keefe's niece and nephew, who he took in after the parents died, are orphaned for a second time. This is from Fox Digital, can you tell? Reed has a book deal and a TV series about her saga in the works, but she's also facing a wrongful death lawsuit, which requires a lesser standard of guilt to hold her liable. My head will pop off. My neck already hurts today. But let me just point out to you that there is no guilt in a civil case. It is negligence. There is no guilt. I'll read that sentence again for effect. But she's also facing a wrongful death lawsuit, which requires a lesser standard of guilt to hold her liable. It's a preponderance of the evidence in civil suits, not beyond a reasonable doubt. There is no standard of guilt. It's liability. It's negligence. Preponderance of the evidence is like this. Imagine the scales of justice, Lady Justice, who's supposed to be blind, holding the scales of justice. If you tipped, oh, she's right behind me. See her there, the little statue? If you can tip the scales one, like just a little tiny bit in one direction, that is a preponderance of the evidence. There's no guilt in a civil case, but who's the editor? I don't know. It's annoying. Don't believe everything you read. Please don't. Her civil team filed a motion to dismiss earlier this week. And again, they're reporting on that without even knowing what the grounds for the motion to dismiss are, which is wild to me also. Because again, Kerry asked Massachusetts court to throw out wrongful death lawsuit after murder acquittal. They did a whole other article on it without the papers being available, so we don't even know what the grounds are yet until they file the whole package in civil court. Love that picture so much. David Yannetti behind them with his arms wide open. 4444. That's how many people are in the chat right now. Earlier this morning, it was 4141. I got to get the angel numbers book out. Check on that. Karen Reed exits Norfolk Superior Court in Dedham, Massachusetts on June 18, 2025. Reed was found not guilty of the murder of her boyfriend, John O'Keefe. An outside investigation by the FBI found no alternate suspects and dispelled allegations of corruption leveled at local and state police. What's wrong with that sentence? Their job was not to find alternate suspects. We think they were investigating the investigation, but we're not quite sure. They certainly did not dispel any allegations of corruption leveled at local and state police because their investigation could and likely is ongoing. Just because the grand jury may be disbanded doesn't mean they're not still working on it. Yes, lesser standard of proof is probably what he meant, Joe DiMartino, but really, is it our job to have to fact check and edit their news? Yes, I know, my head popped off too. But prosecutors and investigators who led the case are facing a reckoning. The Albert family, former owners of the property where Reed and two other women found O'Keefe dead under a sheet of snow, just celebrated a wedding. What is it? What is a sheet of snow? Here she is, Melanie Little's awesomeness. And left swipe says, the angel number 4444 signifies strength, stability, and divine guidance. I think we're there. And all of you are here with me. And we're all on the right path. Thank you, my love. Little Cupcake looked it up too. In numerology, the number 444 signifies stability, practicability, and a strong foundation for future success. It's a message from your angel or spirit guide suggesting that we're on the right path, because next we're going to free Aaron Spencer. I can feel it. I don't know what a sheet of snow is, but at the time he was allegedly hit by the car in the car accident that didn't happen, there was only enough snow to track a cat. Jennifer McCabe, a key witness in both of Reed's trials, and one of the women with Reed that morning, is the new bride's aunt. Yeah, so if you didn't know, it was the wedding of Caitlin Albert, who testified in season 1, and Tristan Albert, Tristan Morris, who testified in season 1. Tristan Morris had no idea what time anything happened. He didn't remember anything about anything. He had no idea what time it was. And allegedly, according to rumor, or according to Dave Portnoy, he approached Dave Portnoy at some event and said, I'm going to be testifying at the Karen Reed trial. Will you give me one of your brick watches so I can wear it on the stand for you? And wouldn't that be ironic? But excellent branding to give a guy who had no idea what time it was ever a watch. I don't know if he ever got the watch from Dave Portnoy, but I do know that he wasn't called to testify in season 2. So that would have been a free watch for nothing. Here's Brian Albert. Okay. The wedding of his daughter, Caitlin. And this guy to the left of your screen here with the sunnies on. People say, people are speculating that is Steve Nelson, the victim witness advocate. Did you guys know that? Do we know if it's been confirmed? I know I don't like rumor, gossip, and speculation because I leave that to Kathy at Gossip, Rumor, and Innuendo. However, somebody did post on Twitter that looks like him. I'm going to let you decide. Here is the picture that we're looking at in the Fox News Digital. Here is the picture that was posted on Twitter. And do you remember? Here's another picture of him. Do you remember how many times Kerry Roberts called the victim witness advocate? We can't say we're speculating. We're speculating. How many times did Kerry Roberts say she called the DA's office, but most of the time she was calling the victim witness advocate? That's him, Steve Nelson. He's the guy who it is rumored may have tipped off Brian Albert and Brian Higgins to destroy their phones right before the preservation order came out. Did he get his hair cut for the wedding? I need to know. I need to know. This wedding was in Portsmouth, New Hampshire, which is a lovely place. I've been there. And the caption of this photo says, retired Boston police officer Brian Albert in Portsmouth, New Hampshire, June 28th of 2025. Albert attends his daughter Caitlin's wedding after Karen Reed's acquittal in the trial for Officer John O'Keefe's death. Listen to this. At the wedding, attendees pitched in to hire private security after Reed supporters allegedly circulated the venue online. Okay, so all the guests at the wedding chipped in to hire security. Didn't Brian Albert, father of the bride, didn't he perhaps have friends that might have done it for him for free? I get the idea that you need security. I didn't know that that wedding venue was leaked, and I didn't know about that. But couldn't he have found some buddies to come in and be the muscle? Yeah, the wedding was on June 28th. You're correct. Can you imagine as a wedding guest being asked to contribute to security? Oh yeah, we're gonna not only do you have to come to the wedding, travel to Portsmouth, New Hampshire, get yourself an outfit, give a hefty check, but also, oh yeah, by the way, we're gonna pass the hat around so you can all. Oh yeah, the BS button. I forgot about the BS button. Hold on, gotta find it. We're also gonna pass around the hat so that you can contribute to security for us. Somebody says it wasn't leaked. She had a site on the knot. Oh, and on the knot, did it say where the wedding was going to be? RJ NLC says, it was at a church and no one combusted? Oh my God, wait till we start talking about Annabelle, you guys. No spoilers. Local police made their presence known too. A marked SUV was parked at the foot of the church steps. Kerry Roberts, a friend of O'Keefe's, who was also present with McCabe and Reed when they found his body, told Fox News Digital she is among the witnesses facing an ongoing harassment campaign, along with the Alberts, the McCabes, and O'Keefe's immediate family. And here's the picture that Jen McCabe released to Fox Digital. And I gotta say, This might not be a popular opinion, but she looks great. Like nobody's had a better glow up than Jen McCabe. Her makeup is on point. She's got the spray tan. I don't know if she airbrushed this photo before she sent it in, but I'm going to give credit where credit is due. And I'm going to say she as most grown up since season 1 to season 2. Except maybe Kerry should stop talking to the press. And here it says Jennifer McCabe in Portsmouth, New Hampshire, June 28, 2025. McCabe attends retired detective Brian Albert's daughter's wedding after Karen Reed's acquittal in the trial for Officer John O'Keefe's death. But then says David McGlynn from Fox News Digital. So maybe he did take the picture from maybe he's one of the paparazzi that they hired to keep away with their security. Here's Kerry Roberts being quoted. I don't know why they're making Jen McCabe a villain, she said in a phone interview. All she did was answer the same phone call I did. Karen called her. She didn't call Karen. It's so stupid and bizarre. End quote. I'm sorry. Do we need to remind you, Ms. Roberts, Kerry, the talker? She's telling them everything. That you admitted to lying to the state grand jury. When you told them under oath that you heard Karen Reed tell Jen McCabe to Google hypothermia. And your lie just might have contributed to the indictment on murder charges. Could that be a problem? Could that be a violation of Karen's civil rights? Could that be? Could that be cause of action? Technically, she said, though, technically it wasn't a lie because I misunderstood the question. Okay. Remember what they told the grand juror who leaked the information? When the grand juror that may have heard I'm sure they did hear a lot of cases. The grand jury wasn't convened for like 18 months. They probably heard the CDL scandal case. They probably heard Sandra Birchmore. They probably heard some stuff about Karen Reed case. The leaker could have leaked a lot of information on a lot of different cases. We don't know yet. In the plea agreement, where they gave this grand juror 1 day suspended sentence of jail and some supervised probation or something, it clearly said in the plea agreement, this does not insulate you from any civil liability. Same thing would apply to perhaps Kerry Roberts. I don't know. I'm just a civil litigator for over 30 years. What do I know? The victim's mother, Peggy O'Keefe, is dealing with harassment of her own, including a woman seen dancing on video at the foot of her driveway after Reed's acquittal. Well, they sure spread that around out there. Many of my viewers do not play on the cesspool of Twitter, but there was a woman seen dancing on video who was apparently undergoing a mental health crisis at the time and had been dancing, I think, all over town. And they doxed her and they put her out there, and it had nothing to do with the Karen Reed case. Yikes. Roberts said the Norfolk District Attorney's Office told her to stop contacting their witness advocate after the trial, even as strangers continue to throw things at her house, call her family murderers in the supermarket, and mock her children. Well, stop calling Kerry Roberts. Guess what? Lindsay Gattani was disposable to them, and you are too. She's being ghosted by the Norfolk District Attorney's Office. And yet, maybe the victim witness advocate is actually was at the wedding. Can anybody confirm for me? Was anybody here? And I know you just make up some anonymous name and come into the chat. If you were actually at this wedding and you know whether this was Steve Nelson and whether Kerry Roberts was at the wedding, because I wonder if she cornered him. If this is him and he was at the wedding, Did she corner him like after a couple of White Claws and be like, why are you not returning my call, Steve Nelson? Why are you not returning? You're supposed to be my victim witness advocate. Why are you ghosting me? I don't know. She got ghosted because they don't need her anymore. She then says, we put our asses on the line for them. Oh, no. We put our asses on the line for 3.5 years, 2 trials to help the state of Massachusetts. And you're not going to help us when we're being harassed, she said. It's not worth it to put my family through ever again and not be protected at all. It's sick. It's absolutely sick. Wow. You put your asses on the line to help the state of Massachusetts. I thought you were testifying in this trial to get justice for your dear friend, John O'Keefe. She didn't mention that, did she? To help the state of Massachusetts. John Monagle, I don't know. Did Tristan show up on time for the wedding? I don't know. Maybe she's saying she'll let Turtle Boy walk free. Well, that's interesting. Is she one of the victims in his case? I don't think there's charges for Kerry Roberts, is there? Against Aiden? She's practically saying, we lied for you, Commonwealth. It says hot for the hillside. Lady Laura says, Kerry had a choice to only say what she knew, and she chose Jen. Consequences of her actions. I don't feel bad at all. Amber says, but who Googled Haas long to dying cold? She put her ass on the line. Did somebody ask her to lie to the grand jury to get the charges upgraded? I don't know. Larry says, don't lie to a grand jury. Very poor choice of words, says Ham Sammy. It's sick. It's absolutely sick. Which part is sick? So I guess she seems to be directing her anger at the Commonwealth and at the DA's office for not protecting them. She's not blaming the jury. It's sick. It's absolutely sick not being protected at all. Then there's a picture of Peggy O'Keefe walking into court, and it says, Peggy O'Keefe, the mother of the murder victim, John O'Keefe, arrives at Norfolk Superior Court for the Karen Reed trial on June 10th of 2025. There's an ongoing witness intimidation case against Aiden Carney, a Canton blogger who goes by the name Turtle Boy. But while Roberts is not one of his alleged victims, oh, there you go, there's our answer. She says she faces rude comments and other harassment from random members of the community. Why is it that Fox Digital insists on calling Aiden Carney a blogger? He's a journalist. He did more investigative reporting into the murder of John O'Keefe than any other member of any news media anywhere. And he did a better investigation than the Massachusetts State Police and the Canton PD combined. And he'll be coming on my show on Sunday night at 7. So we'll have lots of things to talk about. Somebody call the wambulance. Oh, and right, he's not from Canton either. Exactly. Thank you. So we can't blame Turtle Boy for this one about Kerry Roberts, but you know. Somebody call the wambulance. Here's the picture of Kerry crying. Witness Kerry Roberts emotionally describes the injuries to John O'Keefe she saw in the hospital in Norfolk Superior Court on April 23rd of 2025. She didn't describe, did she? I'm sorry, wait a second. Did she go to the hospital? She did not describe any injuries from the hospital, did she? Didn't she describe the injuries that she saw at the scene? I mean, am I being gaslit? Can somebody please? I could be conflating. I don't think that she saw John O'Keefe's body in the hospital. She's not family. She went to the hospital, but did she see his body in the hospital? I don't remember that part of her testimony, Suze. She may have, I think she went and picked up Mr. and Mrs. O'Keefe and brought them there, but I don't remember her describing his injuries at the hospital. But I'm not going to go. She drove them to the hospital, but it said, here's what the caption says. Everybody listen. Witness Kerry Roberts emotionally describes the injuries to John O'Keefe she saw in the hospital. She said his eyes got worse in the hospital. She went in with the family to see him. Okay. I just wanted to point out all of the wrong things that they published, but maybe that's not one of them. Okay. Then she goes on to say, after baseball games, kids on the team opposing her son might tell him, free Karen Reed, while lining up to shake hands, she said. She filed a complaint against her mailman, who allegedly muttered a vulgarity into her doorbell camera when he saw a Justice for John O'Keefe sign at her house. Now someone else delivers her letters. She got her mailman fired or rehomed or reassigned. It's a federal job. It's probably hard to get fired from, but she got her mailman rehomed. They were fact checking the article. We totally are. I mean, I don't know how old her son is, but kind of interesting that they would say free Karen Reed during shaking hands after the game. She's the victim here, my friend. She's the victim. She got her mailman rehomed. The mailman said, it just says, she filed a complaint against her mailman, who allegedly muttered a vulgarity into her doorbell camera when he saw Justice for John O'Keefe sign at the house. I don't know. Maybe he called her an effing liar or something right into her Ring doorbell. Then she says, my message to people is don't ever be a witness, she said. If this happens to you, you're not going to be protected at all. Well, they protected you for a really, really, really super long time. When you had a direct hotline, you had a bat phone to Steve Nelson, Michael Morrissey, as did Jennifer McCabe. It ain't over. And here's a photo of Alan Jackson in his sweet ride. Check this out. Check out Alan Jackson in this sweet ride. Little convertible. It says Alan Jackson takes his car for a spin in Los Angeles Friday, July 4th. The lawyer recently secured a not guilty verdict for his client, Karen Reed. Paparazzi's all over him now, huh? Reed's lead defense lawyer, Alan Jackson, returned to Los Angeles in time for the 4th of July holiday, where he was seen cruising in a Shelby Cobra replica, powered by a 351 stroker he described as a fire-breathing dragon. It's taking a while to come down, he told Fox News Digital, but I'm slowly getting back into my rhythm. Yeah, just as a side note, my first car when I was in high school was a 1966 fire engine red Mustang hardtop. It was fire. It's fabulous. I paid $2,500 for it. All original parts. I was a girl in high school, and I didn't realize that when every time I went somewhere, somebody would try and steal things off of my car. Hubcaps, radio. I wish I still had it. But unfortunately, got a little slick in the rain one day and the car was gone. But what a great car that was while it lasted. Jackson already has another deadly crash case lined up. The defense of Fraser Baum, a 22-year-old from Malibu, facing 4 counts of murder in a high-speed wreck that killed 4 sorority girls from Pepperdine University in October of 2023. Here he is with some unknown man riding in that Shelby Cobra. Mustang Sally. Yeah, Mustang Sally. Shelby, for a girl, is a great name. Shelby is a very, very, Harry Potter's beard, a very popular name in the South. Shelby for girls, right? Remember Steel Magnolias? Oh, yes, Kim Farnham. I'm all over that case too. It happened a long time ago in Malibu. Tragic story. We'll get into it another day because we're trying to get court records on it. And the Van Nuys courthouse. Can't get them online. You got to go to the courthouse. An amazing lawyer in California went to the courthouse to try and get the records so that we could go over them. And she said, everything's filed electronically. You have to come to the courthouse to get them. And the clerk told me that the dinosaur computer that the public has access to is broken and we can't get the documents. And it's another story they don't want you to see the documents on. Alan Jackson went to Pepperdine. True. That is true. That is a tragic, tragic story. I don't know who this guy is that he's with, but it says Alan Jackson takes his car for a spin in Los Angeles, July 4th, 2025. So I guess paparazzi's chasing him, just like they're chasing Jen McCabe at Caitlin Albert's wedding. Baum is due back in court next month after Jackson asked for more time to prep a defense for his new client. I know that accident happened in 2023. He's still never even been arraigned, which is wild. Michael Proctor, a former homicide detective with the Massachusetts State Police, lost his job but may still resurface in the upcoming murder trial of Brian Walsh, who was accused of killing his wife, Anna, outside Boston. We're still waiting for a decision on that motion to suppress. But no, the prosecution has said they're not calling Michael Proctor in the Walsh case. And I want to know if those searches are going to be thrown out. But I digress once again. Kraft Haskell says, I read somewhere that the guy in the car with AJ is a work colleague. I think I saw that somewhere too. Her remains have not been found. Yes, Anna Walsh. Proctor worked that case too, and Walsh's lawyers have argued his presence tainted the investigation. That trial is scheduled to kick off in October. In fact, we have a hearing on the motion to dismiss next Thursday. Hopefully we can cover it live, or we'll get in on the Zoom. We're going to cover it somehow. Oh, and there's a great freeze frame for Michael Proctor. Oh, let's put him up in the corner because sometimes we put him up. We had this picture originally, but this is what he looks like now. He had a little bit of a glow down. Where Jen McCabe might have had a glow up, he had a glow down. That was from June 10th of 2024, that photo. State police fired Proctor after he sent lewd texts about Reed to his friends, officially faulting him for sharing law enforcement sensitive information with civilians and for drinking on the job. His former supervisor, Yuri Buchanan, was also reassigned, rehomed, we say rehomed here, in the wake of Reed's second trial out of the homicide unit in Norfolk County and to an administrative post in Boston, according to Boston 25. Yeah. But according to Mafia Masshole, Kate Peter, it was a promotion. He's going to be the head of a cold case unit. Like, it's a really great thing for Yuri. Really great thing for him. They're going to let this guy handle cold cases. He couldn't even solve the not cold case of the murder of John O'Keefe, which I suppose is now a cold case. Unless anybody else is going to continue to investigate it. And this is during Sergeant Buchanan's grilling by Alan Jackson on May 12th of 2025, that photo. Reed's defense alleged a cover-up by state and local police, alternately insinuating they got lazy in the investigation and failed to do a thorough job or outright framed her. Hank Brennan, the high-powered defense attorney, I don't know about that anymore, hired as a special prosecutor to lead Reed's second trial, reportedly raked in more than $550,000 for his work, according to the Boston Herald. Yeah, that's true. I think it was something like $566,000 and continuing. There's a picture of Hank coming into the courthouse, May 20th, 2025. Oh boy, here we go. They're gonna They're going to quote Jack Lew. Okay, if you don't know who this guy Jack Lew is, LU, I'm just saying somebody might refer to him as a whack job if they were writing texts amongst themselves. That's a reasonable sum for a private lawyer, said retired Massachusetts judge and Boston College law professor Jack Lew, LU, but also much more than a deputy district attorney on the state payroll would have made. Probably $130,000 annually, right? When somebody sent me this guy's Twitter feed, I thought it was a parody account, but it really wasn't. Like, he was going off the rails. But that's who they chose to reach out to for this article. Brennan put in long days and likely worked through weekends while keeping his private practice open at the same time. He added, how could he have done that? How could he have been defending people while he was prosecuting this case? Isn't that a little bit of a conflict? I don't know if Jack Lew knows what he's talking about. I don't know if all his marbles are there. I don't know anything about him except he's like, they invite him on court TV and he's insane. Here's a picture of Karen Reed in that lovely Veronica Beard green suit. Most of her clothes were from Rent the Runway, by the way, for all the people that did like trolling accounts on what she was wearing and how much it cost. This is June 17th of 2025. And this is Karen giving the I love you sign. I'm not sure who the blonde woman is holding her umbrella. And while in a rare public statement, he slammed the prevalence of witness intimidation and apologized for not securing a conviction. O'Keefe's supporters indicated they appreciate his work on the case. Hank Brennan had a rare public statement. Well, the reason it was rare is because there was a gag order on the attorneys. So, right? That's her friend Ingrid. Okay, thanks. Hi, Ingrid. Quote, the jury pool was completely tainted is all I can say, Roberts told Fox News Digital, Kerry Roberts. Hank did so much work. He was a genius. He really was. Nobody could have gotten it done, which is wicked sad. It's wicked sad. According to Kerry Roberts, it's wicked sad. Took us out of reader mode, but I think that's where it ended. What is this rare public? Stop talking. Kerry Roberts is happy with Hank Brennan, but not so happy with Steve Nelson. Here's the article that they referred to about Brennan's rare public statement. And this was published by this same publication, Fox News Digital, on June 23rd. And you remember this because we went over it, but we're here. So let's read it again from maybe some people who didn't see this. Special prosecutor Hank Brennan broke his silence on the Karen Reed case Monday, warning that the behavior of her most vocal supporters threatens the American legal system as it is known. Really? The behavior of her most vocal supporters, people bringing attention to the case like me? Or are you talking about like bloggers or just grifters? Quote, the campaign of intimidation and abuse that has been waged and promoted in public and on social media is the antithesis of justice. If this type of conduct becomes commonplace, it will threaten the integrity of our judicial system, affecting both victims and criminally accused. Brennan, a prominent defense attorney before leading Karen Reed's retrial, said in a statement, yeah, because after he might not be so prominent anymore, I don't know. Quote, we cannot condone witness abuse causing participants to worry for their own safety or that of their families. One of Reed's chief cheerleaders, Aidan Carney, a Canton blogger, again, he's not from Canton and he's a journalist, known as Turtle Boy, is facing charges of witness intimidation in connection with the case. Oh, Carney's attorney, Mark Betterow, called Brennan's comments insubstantial part inappropriate. Quote, here's Betterow. There was no evidence of witness intimidation by the client during Karen Reed's trial, he told Fox News Digital. Sounds like an excuse for the jury's sound rejection of the prosecution's case against Karen Reed and an attempt to influence potential jurors on Mr. Carney's own matters. He said people online had been mercilessly attacking at least one member of the jury, Betterow said. Judge Beverly Cannone extended an order keeping jurors' names secret after members of the panel raised safety concerns. Quote, Betterow again, noticeably absent was any criticism for the outrageous harassment and threats made against jurors, which ought to concern the prosecutor, Betterow said. However, it seems that the Massachusetts witness intimidation statute is selectively exploited against Mr. Carney and those who support Karen Reed. Amen. Preach. And so there you go. I don't think I ever saw that article before, so I'm happy. I'm happy to look at it with you because we ain't got no quit. We're here. We're going to keep talking about it. Amen. They do need an editor. That was terrible. You know, I'm a grammar snob and spelling snob. And Chloe Albert's Revenge says, a mobster. This, the day of my daughter's wedding. Well done. Well done. I got it. That's a Godfather reference. Rhiannon, did B.A. grant request at his daughter's wedding? I don't know. Another Godfather reference. Just a little technical perjury. 4141. Positive change and personal growth and spiritual awakening. We're here for it. You're here all the way from Norway, and we're here for it. And thank you for your super chat. True Crime with Eve says, I misunderstood the question, Mr. Jackson. Technically, it's not perjury, Mr. Jackson, because I misunderstood the question. Thank you, Eve, for your super chat. Gigi's got the silver bracelets ready. Higgy is in a much higher place than Kerry. First come, first serve. Less. It's going to be a series, not an episode. Kerry lied 2 times. Yeah. If she pleads guilty, it's over. Not, it's going to be a whole other episode. Amy Doublehead Jarvis says, take accountability. You lied to the grand jury. Your choice. You're not talking to me. Yeah, no, you're talking to Kerry Roberts. Now face the consequences. Lies equal consequences. That's right. Mama, she is here. So glad we get 2 shows today. I needed it. Lost my grandma yesterday. Oh my God, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry, Mama She. Thank you for keeping my mind off things and entertaining me while I pack for Texas. The only thing that I think of to say when people lose somebody, because nobody ever knows what to say, heaven just got a whole lot more awesome. Love you, Mama She. I'm thinking of you. My thoughts and prayers are with you always. Chloe Abler's Revenge says, I always knew they had a lot of higher education institutions in Massachusetts, but I wasn't aware that one of them offered a BS in victimhood studies. Oh, well done. Well done. Double trouble. Opinions on the Coldplay out of the CEO and his HR exec. Oh, yes, I have opinions. Oh, yes, I do. I mean, a lot of people who aren't on TikTok might not even know about that. Do you guys know about it? We'll come back to it. I don't want to divert from the super chats right now, but we'll come back. Tracy says, did you hear about Higgins' raid on a gun store for spite? No, I did not. I did not hear that, Tracy. Is he still even like in service? Thanks for your 5. New Jersey Kathy, not that Brennan did not add fuel to this fire. Edwina Grimley, thanks for your 10. You have an awesome, witty sense of humor. I was listening to you on my long dog walk the other day, and you had me LOLing. Now I always say, you're all set. You are all set. I'm so glad that that was clipped for one of the baby AI videos. Where I said, when Karen Reed is acquitted, I just want to hear the judge say, Ms. Reed, you are all set. I hope you're rage exercising for me. Rage exercise for me too. Gigi's says, I have always taught my children to never use a word you cannot spell and define. Well done, Gigi. 444 was also the number of shares on the MSP Post's angel number. Thank you, Ashley Lauren. Oh, it was an old video? Young jerts. I know. Dweez, a lot of people were saying this. It'd be worse to be photographed at a Coldplay concert than it is to get caught cheating. Some people think that. Thank you, Boston Lisa says, I'm the cutest AI baby. I love those AI baby videos. Forrest said Higgins did that before he killed John O'Keefe. Good time to point out that the opinions of my viewers are not necessarily my opinions. Hold on. Everyone's saying that Higgy raid was a while back. It's an older story, but it does go to his character. Okay. Moving on to Kelsey Fitzsimmons. So now we're having a little pivot, little pivot. Subject change. I have Bradl's statement too. I've done another stream on Kelsey Fitzsimmons if you want to catch up on that. But here is the article that broke 2 days ago. Like I said, the days are all blending together. 2 days ago. We're going to watch this very closely because not only because it's a Massachusetts case, but because Tim Bradl has been hired to represent Kelsey. Because we have sympathies for moms with, postpartum psychosis and depression. Let's get rid of Proctor because his face was just bothering me. This is from 2 days ago on the 15th. Police watchdog suspends North Andover officer shot by colleague. So when this first popped up on my early morning alert, and it actually popped up because I got New York Post alerts, I thought, oh my God, they suspended the cop who shot Kelsey Fitzsimmons in the chest. Thank God. That's what I was thinking. Well, no, that's not what it is. I forget what the Post headline was, but it led me to think that. Led me to think that they suspended the officer, the 20-year veteran who shot her in the chest. But no. You'd be wrong to think that. Thanks to whoever you guys told me about reader mode, because I'll never have to suffer pop-ups again. Kelsey Fitzsimmons was issued a suspension order this week. She joined the North Andover Police Department last spring. Here's Kelsey Fitzsimmons being sworn in. In May of 2024, North Andover PD. The North Andover police, this is Boston.com, I think. The North Andover police officer who was shot by a colleague as they attempted to serve her a restraining order about 2 weeks ago was suspended by the state's police watchdog Monday. The Massachusetts Peace Officer Standards and Training Post Commission issued a suspension order to Kelsey Fitzsimmons, and a redacted version of the document was posted online. We have it. We're going to look at it. Fitzsimmons was ordered to surrender her uniform, badge, firearm, and any other equipment. Fitzsimmons, who survived being shot in the chest, faces 1 charge of assault to murder and 2 charges of assault with a deadly weapon in connection with the incident. She has not yet been arraigned in Lawrence District Court and has not entered a plea. In the immediate aftermath of the shooting, law enforcement authorities said that Fitzsimmons was in stable condition at a local hospital. Yeah, she was airlifted, by the way. Well, not to the local one. I think she was airlifted to a Boston hospital. They have not commented on her status since then, but Tim Bradl has. I think he said she was stable. A spokesperson for Essex District Attorney Paul Tucker's office said that there were no updates on the case when reached for comment on Tuesday. Fitzsimmons' attorney, Timothy Bradl, has indicated that they plan to fight the charges. Bradl did not immediately respond to a request for comment Tuesday. Fitzsimmons joined the North Andover Police Department last spring. She was shot during an armed confrontation, and that's in quotes, armed confrontation that broke out when 3 of her colleagues showed up at a residence on Phillips Brook Road, authorities said. The court-approved restraining order being served to Fitzsimmons at the time of the shooting was filed by her fiancé. He's a firefighter in North Andover. We went over that in the last stream in which we covered this case, who said that her actions made him fear for his life and the life of their young child. In the application for the restraining order, he noted that Fitzsimmons was an officer with a license to carry, and he expressed concern over how she would react to being served with the order. Officials have released few details about the actual shooting. Fitzsimmons was on administrative leave at the time. She had previously been involuntarily committed to Lowell General Hospital to be treated for postpartum depression, right? She was on a Section 12. Just like they tried to do to Karen Reed. Fitzsimmons surrendered her department-issued firearm and at least one privately owned weapon at the time, but it is unclear if her weapons were returned to her before the shooting. Well, it's clear to me because I did my homework on this and we went over this, and this was only published 2 days ago and our stream was before that. So she did get her weapons back because she sued the chief of police of North Andover because he's got a lot of history, let's just say, of retaliating against women who sue him. Maybe as such, it appears that could be an opinion of some. And if they knew she was suffering from postpartum psychosis, why didn't they have the proper safeguards in place when they went to serve her with this restraining order from her fiance and wanted to take her baby away? Bradl says that his client has been the subject of an appalling smear campaign designed to criminalize her in order to deflect accountability from the North Andover Police Department. After showing signs of postpartum depression, Fitzsimmons needed help and compassion, he said in a statement last week. Instead, her colleagues botched the response and almost killed her, according to Bradl. He indicated that Fitzsimmons' legal defense could center on the training practices of the department. Well, learned a lot about the training procedures during the Karen Reed case, didn't we? Why didn't a woman serve her? All great points. The on-duty officers who attempted to serve the restraining order included one supervisor. The officer that shot Fitzsimmons is a veteran who has served for more than 20 years, Tucker said. North Andover police do not wear body cameras, Chief Charles Gray said. Bradl says that the affidavit filed by Fitzsimmons' fiancé was full of hearsay and self-serving allegations and was deliberately and widely leaked in order to harm her reputation. That affidavit was filed in Essex County Probate and Family Court. Copy was provided to Boston.com earlier this month by the court. Ross Cristaniello, a general assignment news reporter for Boston.com since 2022, covers local politics, the crime environment, and more. Okay. Valerie Jordan said, that department is too rich for body cams. And we watched the press conference on this. So again, if you need to get up to speed, please go watch the last stream that we did on this because we have all the receipts. They're all in there. Shifting over to the suspension order of the Massachusetts Post Commission. They didn't waste any time in suspending her. It's conflicting about whether or not she was on maternity leave. Then after she was sectioned, they took her guns away. Then she sued to get her guns back. And then this happened. So here's the Massachusetts Post Commission website where they list the suspensions by day. And here's the suspension order from July 15th of 2025. I have it in PDF form, so let me take this away so that we can read it. Commonwealth of Massachusetts Peace Officers Standards and Training Commission. In re, the suspension of Kelsey Fitzsimmons. Suspension order. The Peace Officers Standards and Training Commission hereby suspends the law enforcement certification of the responding Kelsey Fitzsimmons pursuant to MGL 6E, section blank. The commission has received sufficient, and then there's a redacted part. The commission has received sufficient evidence that the respondent has, and then there's a long redacted part, comma, thus requiring the immediate suspension of the respondent's certification. Then there's something else that is redacted. The respondent's suspension is effective immediately upon receipt of this order by either the respondent or the head of the respondent's law enforcement agency, whichever is earlier. Oh, the head would be Police Chief Charles Gray, maybe? The respondent is hereby directed to surrender, and the respondent's agency is directed to collect without delay any agency issued credentials and equipment that promote and support the performance of functions associated with service as a law enforcement officer, including but not limited to any uniform, badge, firearm, assigned cruiser, and use of force instruments such as tasers. Footnote 1 says, see Massachusetts general law, and they cite a law. Pursuant to Massachusetts general law, a suspension order of the commission issued pursuant to section 9A shall continue in effect until issuance of the final decision of the commission or until revoked by the commission. Signed by Enrique Zuniga, executive director. With copies. Yes, I have Bradl's statement. I have it. Thank you. Thank you. We're gonna go up. We're doing that next. And here's her notice that she's got a right to a suspension hearing. These are her rights. And I'm sure Tim Bradl is going to do something about that. They certainly didn't waste any time suspending her, did they? How long did it take to get Michael Proctor suspended? Class? How long? Long time. Long time. To get Michael Proctor suspended. Too long. Too long. Mama Shea, on a better note, I'll be back and seeing Coldplay in Nashville on Tuesday. Oh, don't get caught cheating on the Jumbotron like those two executives did. If you don't know about that story, it's wild. Thanks, Mama Shea. KLM, Jess Machado and Ted Daniel put out a new statement today from Kelsey through Bradl. If you haven't already seen it, I got here late. Yes. Well, we didn't look at it yet, so you're in time to look at it with us. We have it. We have it. And it's actually a statement also from Kelsey. So we're here for it. Thank you to Jess Machado for posting this on the cesspool of Twitter. Thank you for your 5. This is dated today, so we have something from today. For immediate release, contact Timothy Bradl. This is a press release to all media outlets from Timothy J. Bradl, Esquire. Do not attempt to contact the Fitzsimmons family. Please direct all your inquiries to Attorney Bradl. Regarding North Andover Police Officer Kelsey Fitzsimmons releases statement to set the record straight. Good. And these are Bradl's words. It is time to end the PR war on North Andover Police Officer Kelsey Fitzsimmons. As Kelsey recovers from her life-threatening injuries, she cannot sit idle any longer. In our first press release, we were honored to speak for Kelsey when she was fighting for her life and could not speak for herself. As stated, we would have preferred to address the facts of the matter in court, but Kelsey believes it is imperative that since she has been battered with leaks from negative and false allegations, she speak out now to set the record straight. And here is the statement from Kelsey Fitzsimmons. My name is Kelsey Fitzsimmons, and as I recover in my hospital bed, I am ready to speak about the incident that took place on June 30th of 2025 in my own home, where I almost lost my life. I was diagnosed with postpartum depression in March of 2025, approximately 3 weeks after giving birth to my beautiful baby boy. I have actively been in treatment since the day of my diagnosis and was eager to heal and feel like myself again. Unfortunately, healing a sickness does not happen overnight. However, what can happen overnight is my life turning upside down into, wait, I gotta get to page 2. Get to page 2. My life turning upside down into something so horrible, my mind wouldn't even be able to imagine it if it weren't my current reality. Someone who I thought understood my diagnosis, loved me in sickness and in health, and was in my corner for the journey of my active treatment to get better, turned their back on me. Said person is now legally bullying me to get what they want, slandering my character, and using my diagnosis against me to make me seem like I am a monster. There are more false allegations than I can even comment on. Okay, I'm going to point out to you because we know who it is. It's Justin. It's Justin, North Andover firefighter Justin. They were engaged. They were scheduled to be married in October. They were in Maine when something happened. We read all about it last stream. Might have been the bachelorette weekend. There's a lot of tea in the last stream. Stuff I found on Facebook about like the North Andover firefighter department and how they had 9 babies in 9 months and how excited Justin was to be a dad and wanted more kids right away. Here we go. We knew we were being gaslit on this, didn't we? All right, back to the statement. These are the words of Kelsey Fitzsimmons. The deep love I have for my baby boy sustains me and keeps me strong. I haven't spent more than a night away from him since I delivered him, and I adore every moment I spend with him. He's my best friend, my miracle, my little man, my sweet boy, and my most importantly, a giant piece of my heart. Okay, I think he's 4 months old, I believe, right? All right, Roxanne, please don't put. Someone on TikTok said something about her. I'm not gonna. I don't have receipts on it, so I'm not. Please don't spread that in the chat. I am 5 months postpartum. Oh, so he's 5 months now. Without my baby boy, who needs me as much as I need him. I would never put that angel of a child in harm's way. My job as his mama is to protect him, and that is what I have always done and will continue to do for the rest of my life. Becoming a mother has always been my dream, and I never made any threats towards my baby. That allegation specifically makes me sick to my stomach. I was alone with my baby day in and day out for months, caring for him as my fiance frequently worked 24 to 48-hour shifts. But conveniently, there were never any concerns up until now. And they do. Firefighters do, right? Work 24, 24s, 48s. They sleep there. On June 30th of 2025, I received a phone call from my fiance to meet him at the park to go for a walk with our baby boy together. After almost 3 hours of waiting for him at the park and no communication from him, I went home very confused as he never showed up. Okay, so remember the incident in Maine happened, I think, on June 28th, right? It did. I remember that because I remember thinking June 28th because it was like, hold on. I'm going to link the other stream below. It's the stream of mine that doesn't have a thumbnail, I think, because I didn't have time to make a thumbnail. So it's just like a picture of me talking. That's how you'll find it if you want to catch up on that later. And so June 25th. No. Yeah, June 28th was a Saturday night, right? So I think that's when it happened. And this is 2 days later, and she has the baby with her because she's supposed to meet him in the park. Okay, this is making more sense now. She waited for 3 hours at the park with the baby. And he never showed up. About an hour later, I was sitting on my couch feeding my baby boy when I got a knock on my front door. So the baby was there. A lot of people were saying the baby was not there when they tried to serve her with this restraining order. Very confused to see 3 of my colleagues. I opened the door and I am told the following. Okay, this is how it went down. Good on Bradl for getting her side of the story out there. Your fiance, I'm told the following. Your fiance has filed a restraining order against you. He will be taking your son away with no contact allowed. Your firearms license that was just returned is gone again. And oh yeah, that career you worked so hard for and love that you were just cleared to return to, that will be taken away too. Following this interaction, I packed bags containing baby food, clothes, diapers, toys, etc., for my son to be taken away from me. I passed my son off to a fellow police officer, and I went into my bedroom. In that horrible moment, I didn't want to live after my whole world was turned upside down in the matter of a 10-second conversation due to someone alleging horrible, untrue things. Hold on, we got to get to page 3. Oh, shoot. We have a broken legal system where someone can walk into a courthouse, write anything that self-serves them on an affidavit, and as a result, a brand new mother suffering with postpartum depression gets her baby taken away. We are calling on the legislature and the governor to reform this abomination of a statute where the first person to get to court and fill out a form can take a mother's newborn away from her if they can sneak in front of a judge without the mother's notice or opportunity to be heard. If there is an immediate issue, someone can call 911. The courts are not equipped for proper on-the-spot decision-making in this context without hearing from both sides. As a police officer, I'm trained to know what to do if I encounter a suicidal individual who is only displaying a threat to themselves. I certainly was not trained to shoot a suicidal person in the chest. But here I am today, 2 surgeries later, bedridden, and trying really hard to heal from these significant injuries. I am facing felony charges for a half-hearted attempt to take my own life. Let me say that again. I am in trouble and have a gunshot wound to my chest because in that awful isolated moment, I no longer had the will to live. So it sounds like, oh, well, here we go. I never pointed my firearm at the officer. That officer was not just a colleague. He was my friend. That officer and I experienced a very difficult and sad call for service together last summer. That call for service that day was a true tragedy and caused this officer and I to build a friendship due to experiencing it together. We entered the home and walked into something no human being should ever see, a murder-suicide scene with a mother and her infant. As a rookie police officer, this was devastating to me. At the time, I was 20 weeks pregnant. The officer that shot me experienced this call with me. Hold on, I lost my place because I got distracted by a troll in the chat. Hold on. Oh, I love it when people come in. They actually wait like 6 hours, to be able to comment. And it's the only time you've ever commented ever on any of my shows. Are we denying fathers' rights and platforming suicidal mothers? Sounds kind of sexist. Well, you don't know me, KRM944, but Block Island is so lovely this time of year. There's a boarding pass for that. Bye-bye. Na 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 na. Hey, hey, hey. Goodbye. Now, what we're platforming here is what we've seen happen in Massachusetts time and time again. Which may be a systemic problem. Excessive force. Let's keep reading. There are ramifications for your behavior in my house. She was 20 weeks pregnant at the time. The officer that shot me experienced this call with me. To this day, his support during that hard time is something I am still grateful for, regardless of this recent incident that occurred. This traumatic murder-suicide call was the catalyst for my mental health complications. She was probably afraid that she could do something like that to her baby, having seen something like that firsthand. I could see that, right? As a police officer myself, I would never even think to intentionally hurt another police officer. I mean, she was shot in the chest. Now we know she's had 2 surgeries. She was clinging to life. I see everyone in uniform as my brothers and sisters. I especially would never hurt my friend who has a loving wife and children. I just would never. My firearm was never pointed in any direction other than my temple. When I pulled the trigger, my gun did not fire. However, I immediately got shot in the chest by my colleague and friend. I'm extremely grateful for 2 things: that God protected me from my attempt of taking my own life and protected me by millimeters from dying by that gunshot wound to my chest. I will survive and thrive. No, there's no body cam footage because North Andover Police Department doesn't wear it. I know I need to be on this earth for many reasons, but most importantly, my beautiful son, this is my covenant with God and my son. And that is the statement from Kelsey Fitzsimmons, and we knew that there was much more to the story. So thank you to Jess Machado for posting Tim Bradl's statement, and for those of you who sent that to me. And please go follow Jess Machado Show on Twitter because she's always got the information. Wait a second. Did I miss it? Did I skip a page? Hang on. 1, 2, 3. Oh, there's one more page. Hold on. There's one more page. I almost quit too soon. We ain't got no quit. Page 4. I would also like to note that from the very beginning, I acknowledged my diagnosis of postpartum depression and immediately sought help from medical professionals. I was failed by so many. The narrative that has been released by the North Andover PD is vague and non-committal for a reason. If body cameras were worn by my department, I would not be in a position where I'm wrongly accused of pointing my gun at this officer. I know the truth will prevail. Kelsey Fitzsimmons, #JusticeForKelsey. Thank you, Jess. Thank you, Jess Machado. Right. Why would they send that specific officer? Whoever says, I feel so bad for her, and now she still has to suffer from probably lifelong pain from what her own friend, the other officer, did to her. So sad. And she's facing several felony charges. Chloe Albert's Revenge said, why would they send that specific officer knowing he's had that experience as well? Exactly. eBay Warhol coming in. That's a Brian Walsh reference if you don't know. Brian Walsh, in addition to maybe dismembering his wife, also was on federal home release for selling fake Andy Warhols on eBay to an Andy Warhol collector. Why didn't they use the taser? Why the deadly weapon? Great point. I don't know. Risa M became a new member. Welcome. Kyle is here. Responded to one of those calls. Did it when we walked in. Impressive. What? Responded to one of those calls. Did it when we walked in. Impressive. I don't know what you're talking about. You're saying a call like this and the person shot herself? Terrific. GV immediately makes sense, unlike what the Commonwealth released, right? Because you know how they like to spin things, like in the Karen Reed case. Law enforcement sources say there's ring camera footage of the incident. News at 11. Mike B from the 413 says, note, North Andover and Haverhill both as Essex DA turf. Desert Quill is proud to be a cupcake, even though I'm not. For 20 months, yay! I know, I have a sign back there somewhere that says, you are not a cupcake, you cannot make everyone happy. Because I have 5 kids, and not everybody's always happy at the same time. Never. I'm not a cupcake, but you guys make me happy, so you're my cupcakes. Sue Tutton says, well, as a mom who suffered the same thing, the feeling of being underwater and unable to swim, I know how she felt at that moment. Erin says, I just got chills. I remember when my daughter's father threatened to take her at 3 months. I was exclusively BF. I have never been so scared. Caroline says, where are all the trained officers at? Massachusetts law enforcement needs to go back to school. Everyone, please smash that thumbs up button. No, I have not covered Lindsay Clancy yet, but I have all the documents and I'm ready to go. And this is reminiscent of Lindsay Clancy. And yes, Lindsay Clancy was suffering from postpartum psychosis. She took the lives of her 3 young babies while her husband went to the store for like 10 minutes. Then she jumped off a second floor window or off the balcony or something. And now she's a quadriplegic. And her husband is behind her. And she's being represented by Kevin Reddington. He's one of the best attorneys in Massachusetts. And we have the papers on Lindsay Clancy. And we will get into that very soon. Yes, so I could see how they're worried about something like that. But here's the thing. From what Kelsey just told us, they had the baby. One of the officers had the baby, and the baby was with the officers. And the baby was safe. And in Tim Bradl's first press release that we read, he talked a lot about excessive use of force and that you're not allowed to use deadly force when a person seems to only be a danger to themselves. She was on all kinds of meds, Lindsay Clancy. Yep. Going to be a big part of the defense. And her husband is standing by her. My heart breaks. Yeah, Andrea Yates. Yep. Drowned her 5 children. That was heartbreaking. Stephen, welcome. Lou Jones says, why wasn't a mental health professional sent? Right. They had this 2098 order. They knew about her condition. They knew about her condition because she was out on leave because of it. It's horrific. What say you? Hang on. Got to close the 400 tabs that I have open. Eddie Irene says they didn't care about her well-being. The officer shot to kill. Yes, we did go through the affidavit in the last stream. We absolutely did. Thank you. Just a little technical perjury. Dana says that's completely counter to the use of force continuum. Kim says there's something off about this case. Dane Mom says, they feel differently about Clancy. I understand PPD 100%, but that was premeditated murder, no excuse. I think she was on a lot of medication. and a lot of the wrong medication. And I think there was an issue with the medication. So I'm going to wait to hear all the facts on Lindsay Clancy because I really don't have an opinion on it yet. Look at this. Kirsty Nursey M says Lindsay Clancy's case is the reason I decided to become a PMH nurse practitioner. And Pierce says, in my opinion, this is why women don't seek help. And she did seek the help. And she thought Justin, her fiance from the North Andover Fire Department, was supportive of her. Truckers Against Tie Clip says, I've lost more friends since the war than I lost during the war. Scorpion says, no wonder people don't want to come forward with mental illness. Speak up and get asked for help and this happens. Something's not right. Mitchell says sounds like there's a lot of backstory. Despite the look on my face, you're still talking. Says most police departments don't have officers or other staff to specifically handle these things. Crisis Cops. Great documentary on the subject. Thank you. It's so funny when people are behind in the chat. they're chatting like they're in real time. KC 1920. Kerry went and woke up Peggy O'Keefe and drove her to the hospital. That was a topic ago, but that's okay. Love you. The face of Irish poverty is here. Change the username. Thanks for your 10. How and when does a protective order give them the right to take her baby? They knew what they were doing. They wanted her dead. Thank you for your 10 and for your opinion. She has been charged with, well, we just went over it earlier. And I think I closed the tab because I had too many tabs open. But look at you guys. Look at you guys. The Aaron Spencer fundraiser for the family is over $19,000. It's $19,244. You guys are amazing. I urge you, if you didn't watch this morning's stream, please educate yourself on Aaron Spencer out of Arkansas. Yeah, the dad said in the papers that the baby was at risk, that she had threatened to do something about the baby. I'm Aquarius, ordinary you. I'm Aquarius. Can you tell? The February kind. Miranda says, I thought CPS comes and takes the baby if it's a problem, not the police. That doesn't sit right with me. It doesn't sit right with a lot of people. A newborn sleep schedule doesn't help at all. Lack of sleep can literally drive a person insane. Scorpion, you are 100% right. That is so true. So true. Lack of sleep will make you crazy. I bet you there's a lot of Aquarius in the chat. Crashes. Talking about, see, all the Aquariuses are in the chat. And it's so interesting to me, the whole astrology thing, because I will tell you that most of my friends throughout my life, most of my dearest girlfriends are Libras, all Libras. Many of my friends and partners have been Pisces. A couple of Geminis in there. Sagittarius. My progeny. And a Virgo in there too. But it's like, I don't even know any Scorpios or Cancers, or it's just weird how like the people that have surrounded me my whole entire life are from maybe 3 or 4 astrological signs. It's just weird, right? I don't know why that is. Oh, Leo. Both my parents are Leo and my sister. That was rough. An Aquarius kid and a Gemini kid growing up with 3 Leos in the house. That was hard. Right? Well, we're talking about horoscopes. Let's talk for a minute about Annabelle. Do you guys know about Annabelle? Okay. We're going to talk about Annabelle for a minute. Lady Zelda wants to talk about Annabelle too, because I said, Lady Zelda, you got to get on Annabelle. And if you don't know about Annabelle, I fell into the TikTok rabbit hole last night. And I saved a couple of TikToks for us to watch together, because if you don't know about Annabelle, you're going to know now. You too. Don't blame me if you two fall in. You too. You people, use guys fall into the Annabelle rabbit hole. We'll start off with the one that has 100,000 views. All right. And it's got like a little bit of the lore. Ed and Lorraine Warren. Yes, thank you. It's the cursed doll. Okay. Here we go. All right. Now this one. Oops. Hold on. TikTok is weird because I don't know how to like full screen it, and it's on a computer. This is one that was posted in May. Okay. So let me see if I can figure out how to full screen this damn thing. Hold on. This is posted in May. Stop. How do you make the TikTok? You can't make the TikTok stop. Okay, hold on. Okay. This was posted in May. This is a little bit about the lore of Annabelle. Topic change. Here we go. This was posted on May 21st. So this is before any of the things that just happened. Let me know if you can hear this.
Annabelle doll. She said, don't move her. Lorraine told you all not to move the Annabelle doll. She said, don't move her. Leave her where she is, but it's 2025. We like the around and find out. So what do? We take Annabelle on a world tour, okay? We're just moving her all over the place. They send her to New Orleans the day they take the doll there, the day Annabelle arrived in New Orleans, and Historical Plantation burns to the ground. They literally had the fire out at one point, and it reignited itself. If that's not the ancestors speaking their truth anyway, then 10 convicts escape a prison. Okay, there are 10 convicts, some convictive, unalive people on the loose. And New Orleans, actually, I think they've caught 2 of them now. South 8. And they're saying that they escaped because they were helped by someone within the prison staff.
Right?
So Annabelle gets there, plantation burns down, and the prison staff is helping unalive us out of the prison. Leave the doll alone. Leave her alone. Why do we have to around and find out the hard way?
Okay, that was May 21st.
Lorraine told you all.
That Raggedy Ann doll was given to a nurse.
This is a little bit about the lore of Annabelle. And this was posted. When was this originally posted? Hold on. Yesterday. Okay, so you're going to find out what
Lorraine
happened.
told you all not to.
That Raggedy Ann doll was given to a nurse in 1970 by her mother as a Christmas present. But as most girls do, even 28 years old, she would take the doll to bed with her, wrap her arm around, and go to sleep. I do the same thing with a pillow. But then she started taking it to the breakfast nook, where the arms one morning went onto the table. Now, she lived with another nurse, and they shared the expenses of the apartment, which was 4 blocks away from Hartford Hospital.
Right.
At
Connecticut.
that point, they told the girls about the incident, and one said, I know a medium. So they held a seance that night. That was the beginning of many seances with this doll. They would come home at night, and the woman had told them, the medium, that there was a spirit of a 6-year-old child in the doll by the name of Annabelle, who had been killed outside of their apartment house in an automobile accident. Well, there was such a child, but God does not allow a child spirit to go into a doll. This was a devil, a demon inside the doll, which was impersonating the spirit of a child. Well, they treated it like it was a child. They got extra clothing, and they got different types of...
This is Ed Warren. I might have to, for copyright purposes, give you some commentary in the middle of this 5-minute video. Anybody watch the Conjuring movies? The Conjuring movies were based on Annabelle and based on Ed and Lorraine Warren. Some people don't believe in this stuff. I do.
bracelets and things for it, just treating it like a little girl. They would take her for rides. But then they started to become frightened when things were happening in the house, sounds, knockings, rappings, whispering. And they said, oh, Annabelle must want another seance. So they would hold the seance going deeper down that road of no return. Then they would take the doll and put it on the bedroom, in the bed, and they'd leave it there. They'd come home after midnight, the two girls, open up the door, and this doll would be standing there waiting for them. Now, that doll can't stand. You can see it has very flimsy.
I have no idea. People are saying, weren't Ed and Lorraine outed as frauds? I have no idea. I'm just here for the Annabelle story. I have no idea. Some people believe it, some people don't. Some people will say that they're frauds because they don't believe in it. I don't know.
Legs.
Dolls are creepy.
But
right?
I've seen it stand. Now, these are all the diabolical manifestations that we look for. Well, as time went on, one of the fiancés of one of the girls said, get rid of the doll, burn it, throw it away. He wanted to get rid of that doll. He fell asleep one Saturday afternoon. And the doll was put right across from him on a couch. And the girls were fooling around saying, well, now, Annabelle, you help us to clean up. Just like a little kid. Yep. All of a sudden, he woke up with a start. He was sweating. He said, my God, he said, what a nightmare I just had. I dreamt that Annabelle there was strangling me, and he had marks on his throat. Was it psychosomatic? Well, he walks over to the doll, he picks it up, and looks at it, and throws it right across the room. You're nothing but a rag doll. You couldn't hurt anyone. With that, 7 slashes appeared on his body, 4 in the chest and 3 on the stomach. The blood came right through his shirt. Now they were all frightened. Things were flying around the room. They called the High Episcopal Canon in Hartford. He called Father Richard Nolan. Father Nolan called us. We went to the house. Exorcism was performed immediately in the home and over the people. I took the doll back to my home here, where it's in the museum now. At one time, I had it just sitting in a chair. But a priest came here one day and he said, Ed, this doll is supposed to be infested by devils. He picks the doll up and he throws it across the room, just like the young man in the house. God is more powerful than the devil. I said, yes, Father, you're right. God is more powerful than the devil, but no priest is, no man. On his way home in a brand new car on Route 84, the car went out of control, almost head on into a tractor-trailer truck. It was demolished, and the priest was almost killed. The last thing he remembered seeing was that doll. A detective, a homicide detective that Lorraine and I were working with, wanted to see the museum. We work on many cases where children are murdered or whatever. And
I'll interrupt just to say, I remember Mrs. Beasley, Beth Allen. I remembered the Mrs. Beasley doll. My sister had a Mrs. Beasley doll. I also remember the Madame Alexander dolls. I had a whole set of Madame Alexander dolls, including all the Little Women and Alice in Wonderland. And one day my sister decided to cut the hair off of the Madame Alexander dolls. And I was mad. I'm still mad about it. Still mad about it, if you're listening. Because your nickname was Buffy. Oh, that's cute. I have sage ready. I have sage ready in the background. I already have my sage out. Are we allowed to even watch this video? I think we can.
he came down here, looked all over, and he said, you know, Ed, of all the things here, I can't take my eyes off that doll. At that time, it was still in a chair. The phone rang. I said, I'll be right back. Don't touch anything in this room. Everything in here is unholy, unblessed, the opposite of what you would find in a church. Well, I wasn't even up there talking for 10 minutes. I heard him coming up the stairs. He had to come through the passageway into the Halloween room and up into the kitchen. This man was a huge guy. He was about 6'3", 250 pounds, used to seeing grisly sights. He was sweating. He couldn't speak. He was trembling. I thought he was having a heart attack.
Curly, always
I
got
told him to sit down and I'd call an ambulance. He said, no, Ed, it isn't that. I said, well, what's wrong? I don't want to talk about it. That's what he said. I don't want to talk about it. Sometimes a little macho and cock, you know? Sure. And Lorraine walked in and he looked at Lorraine, and I guess he found it easier to talk to a woman than a man. He said, I'll tell her about it, but I don't want her to ever talk about it again. Well, she didn't have to. The doll had been in the chair over in one corner of this room. When I came in, the doll was over in another corner on the floor. Everything had been knocked over, like there was a terrible struggle here. There was a terrible struggle. This man had picked that doll up. His aura had mingled with the aura of that doll, and something so terrible occurred that he resigned from the police department 3 months later and moved to California. Is that right? A young man came in here one day with a bunch of college students, and after I told him about the doll and many other things, He came over here. I was standing over in the other corner. He started tapping on this glass and said, I don't believe any of this is a bunch of hooey. He said, if that doll can do anything, let it do something to me right now. Put a slash on me. So I put him out of the building. He was on a motorcycle. 3 hours later, he was dead. The girl that he was with said that he was laughing about the doll.
3 hours later, he was dead. Put a pin in that. No spoilers, please. And this is an old video. I don't know what year this is from, but it was just posted on TikTok yesterday.
When the motorcycle,
It's only
just like
5
the
minutes.
car, went out of
There's not
control,
much left.
hit a tree and killed him instantly. The girl was in the hospital for over a year. You can never challenge devils.
Don't mess with the devil, that's
No.
for sure.
Don't mess with the devil.
That Raggedy Ann doll was given
Okay,
to a
that's the
nurse.
origin story of Annabelle.
Hey guys, this is Dan. I'm here right at
This is the handler. This is Annabelle's handler. He's the guy, Dan Rivera, who took Annabelle on tour. Now, you heard Ed Warren say, don't ever move, Annabelle. Here's all the horrible things that happened with Annabelle. Dan Rivera is the guy who took Annabelle out of the box, repackaged her. He had holy gloves, all of it.
the museum right now. I just want to show you guys that Annabelle is in the Warren's Occult Museum. And let's go inside and let's check.
There was a rumor, I don't know how long ago, that Annabelle was missing, that somebody kidnapped Annabelle. And then he went and he proved that Annabelle was still there. Annabelle wasn't missing. But here's this like weird museum where Annabelle is
And
in
who's
Connecticut.
there? Annabelle in the Warren's Occult Museum. Annabelle's not missing. She's not in Chicago. All right. We do plan on going to Rock Island Roadhouse Expo in Rock Island, Illinois on October 4th. If you guys want to get tickets for that, you guys go to warrensconvention.com. warrensconvention.com.
So they were taking
guys will
Annabelle.
have
They
a
took
chance to see
Annabelle on
Annabelle.
tour.
But she's not in Chicago. She never was in Chicago. And she's not missing because she's right.
And after 3 days in Gettysburg, which is said to be the most haunted place in America, I don't know, Dan Rivera had Annabelle in his room. Dan Rivera dropped dead. An otherwise healthy man dropped dead. Like yesterday, the day before. And the tour is going to continue, leaving a wife and 4 children.
There's an ongoing case in my home state of Arkansas.
No, that was what we looked at the other day.
Lorraine told you all not to
That, hold on, because
move
there
the
was,
Annabelle doll.
I had more. Hold on. I had more. Here's the other crazy thing that happened. The minute they crossed over into Pennsylvania, the entire 911 system for Pennsylvania shut down. If you live in Pennsylvania, you might have gotten an alert on your phone that the 911 system in the entire state went down. I'm sorry, what? So this just happened yesterday. Look, I'm on top of one story in time. And it broke yesterday at 1:48 p.m. on July 16th. A paranormal investigator suddenly died while touring with the infamous and supposedly haunted Annabelle doll on the night of July 13th, his tour organizers have announced. They only announced it on the 16th. Dan Rivera, a U.S. Army veteran, was on his sold-out Devils on the Run tour in Gettysburg, Pennsylvania, when firefighters and medics rushed to his hotel, the Evening Sun reported. CPR was performed, but Rivera, 54, died. According to the New England Society for Psychic Research, or NESPR, where he was the lead investigator. They don't have a cause of death yet. It's crazy. Does anybody live in Pennsylvania, and did you get an alert on your phone? Here it is. Chloe said, yes, that was Friday. I was in New York and I got an alert about the 911 system in Pennsylvania. as soon as Annabelle crossed into the state. I know some people don't like to believe. A lot of people are saying they got that alert. Let's take a look of some news coverage on this, because maybe that's where I hid these videos. There's too many places now. There's too many avenues. Where I can hide my material. I try and cut and paste everything onto a document. Hang on. And then, just go to the links, but it never works out that way. This is just from 20 hours ago. Look at us being on top of a story. Hang on. Coming back at you with NBC News. Wild. Sure, the captions are on for use guys. You can fall into the Annabelle rabbit hole too. Here we go. Well, it'd be helpful if I turned on the volume. Okay, wait.
Tonight, tragedy at a stop on the nationwide tour of the supposedly possessed Annabelle doll. One of the doll's handlers found dead in his hotel room at the age of 54.
Annabelle's next stop, guys. Augusta, Maine.
Dan Rivera, a lead investigator for the New England Society for Psychic Research, or NESPR, had been exhibiting the Annabelle doll around the country. His colleagues now mourning his death, writing, NESPR is devastated by his passing and is still coming to terms with this profound loss. The cause of death not yet revealed by investigators. The county coroner telling NBC that his death was nothing suspicious. Still, the decades of lore surrounding Annabelle causing a social media craze among those fascinated by the paranormal.
The Annabelle doll's handler, Dan Rivera, just died suddenly during a haunted tour.
Something his friend and fellow paranormal investigator Ryan Buell called out.
Dan Rivera was a human being and not a plot twist.
Annabelle recently made headlines when online rumors spread that the so-called demon doll had gone missing from its display case, usually secured by crosses and holy water.
The girl that he was with said that he was laughing about the doll when the motorcycle, just like the car, went out of control, hit a tree and killed him instantly.
Allegedly linked to decades of grisly deaths and paranormal activity.
The Annabelle doll is probably one of the most infamous dolls on the planet.
Tony Spera oversees the Annabelle doll. We spoke to him while the rumors were swirling back in May. He's the protege of paranormal investigators Ed and Lorraine Warren, depicted in the Conjuring movies by Patrick Wilson and Vera Farmiga.
Every family's different.
I think that the movies really made...
I kind of did love the Conjuring movies because I love Vera Farmiga. So I'm just putting it out there.
The celebrity, if you will, of the doll flourish. The doll is something to be respected, not revered.
Online, people connected her supposed powers to fires and even recent jailbreaks.
I just want to show you guys that Annabelle is in the Warren's Occult Museum.
And it was back in May when Dan Rivera tried to ease fears that the doll had been stolen in a post on TikTok.
Annabelle's not missing. She's not in Chicago.
Spera and his group not connecting Rivera's death to anything paranormal, but previously answering my question.
What do you say to the skeptics here who might not really believe that this doll has anything evil inside of it?
No, in a way, I don't blame people for being skeptical. If people don't know about the demonic, it's very difficult to believe that these things are happening, but they do happen.
The tragic death reigniting concern and fascination with the paranormal, as organizers say the tour, already steeped in superstition, will continue on in Rivera's honor.
They're
We thank
continuing
you
the
for
tour.
watching, and remember, stay updated on breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or watch live on our YouTube channel.
Does anybody want to go to the tour? You
Enroll
can
on
get tickets, I
Netflix's-
bet. Jesse Weber did a 22-minute thing, but I didn't watch the whole thing, so I'm not going to watch that with you. Hang on.
Pennsylvania State Police say a paranormal expert died of natural causes after making a stop in Gettysburg, all part of a tour with an Annabelle doll. It's an allegedly haunted Raggedy Ann type doll at the heart of the Conjuring movies. Based on the real life experiences.
Do not say alleged about Annabelle because you'll be next, man. Lock that doll up. Well, look at Shannon Loves Connecticut. Saw the tour, and there's a ton of Ed and Lorraine stuff. Where's the creepy doll now? Natural causes. Yeah, they're saying natural. I don't think there's been an autopsy or anything yet. Dude, do not. You better believe in Annabelle or she will come for you next. Hang on.
Police say a paranormal expert died of natural causes after making a stop in Gettysburg, all part of a tour with an Annabelle doll. It's an allegedly haunted Raggedy Ann type doll at the heart of the Conjuring movies, based on the real life experiences of a Rhode Island family who claim to have been terrorized by that doll. The paranormal community shocked by this death right here. And Maxine Rose talking to some experts about this just a few minutes away from where the doll was. Maxine.
Yeah, Joel D. Well, the doll was actually held right behind me in that building there, but just down the street, experts with Into the Dark paranormal investigators say they've seen all sorts of spooky things over the years here in Gettysburg, but they say the death of another expert is coming as a surprise.
I've never heard of it personally. I will say that I do think some objects hold energy, just like
You never heard of
locations do.
Annabelle?
But I've never heard of anything ever happening like this.
Dan Rivera, a lead investigator for the New England Society for Psychic Research, was found dead in his hotel room on Sunday, according to reporting from the Evening Sun. He was here in Gettysburg as part of the tour that brought the Annabelle doll across the country. Today, we got the reaction of the experts at the historic Rainworth Lodge.
It's a very sad situation. It is somebody's father and his kids, and it's a sad situation.
I mean, I don't know. It's a little too much of a coincidence for me.
And within the next hour, we'll share with you what the investigators say are haunted objects. They'll tell us all about that and how this could maybe affect you. We'll have that for you coming up next. Reporting live in Gettysburg, I'm Maxine Rose, CBS 21 News.
Okay.
Thanks, Maxine. A lot of people in state police say a paranormal expert died of natural causes after making a stop in Gettysburg with that doll you just saw. It's called the Annabelle doll. It's allegedly haunted Raggedy Ann type doll you saw.
Allegedly?
It's the heart of the Conjuring movies.
Is it the same guy?
So
Said
based on the
allegedly
real
again?
life experiences of a Rhode Island family who claimed to have been terrorized by the doll. The paranormal community shocked by all this. Maxine Rose there to check things out. Maxine.
Same guy, different story.
Yeah, Joel D. I'm actually standing next to Tom with ghostly images here in Gettysburg. He says that the event happened right here. He was there the day that Annabelle came here and was actually in the doors right behind us here. Tell us about kind of your interaction with Dan Rivera, the man who recently passed.
Sure. Well, I and our team at Ghostly Images have known Dan for the last couple of years. We worked together. They came to Gettysburg last year as part of a Paracon. And we worked exclusively with them to bring Annabelle here to the orphanage building. And Dan was just a great guy. He was funny, just entertaining, but very dedicated to what he was doing.
Hashtag arrest
his
Annabelle.
mentors were Ed and Lorraine Warren. And just right until this whole weekend, he was giving educational programs to over 1,200 guests who came through these doors. We were so proud at how smooth the event went here. Over 3 days, people from far and wide came in. I never saw so many people so happy with their experience, so respectful. And Dan played a huge part contributing to that.
Dan dropped dead.
Until Sunday, sadly, when he couldn't join us. He was not feeling well and went back to his hotel room and sadly passed away in his hotel room.
Look.
So, all of us here at Ghostly Images, our paranormal community,
Why are they
all over
continuing
the country,
tour?
sending out condolences and sympathies because Dan was so respected and highly regarded, and we're just devastated here at Ghostly Images how this.
All right, I think
ended up
I'm
with
supposed
Dan.
to stop talking about this now because I'm getting people freaked out. But here, Tiffany sent me this. She got this on her phone Friday at 3:24 p.m. And Tiffany, it's been happening to a lot of people. So if for some reason you can't chat, send me the link to your YouTube channel. Because YouTube has been doing wacky things, unsubscribing people, blocking people. I have no idea why. But look at this. Friday at 3:24 p.m., Pennsylvania Emergency Management Agency. Pennsylvania is experiencing a statewide intermittent 911 outage. individuals experiencing issues contacting 911 are asked to contact their local 911 center on their non-emergency lines. Check your county social media and website for more information. Thank you. I don't know where the doll is now, but now that you guys are going to fall into the rabbit hole, you can tell me where the doll is now. Because I'm fascinated by this. And I had to, like, once I got it, like the New York Post alert, I had to go to TikTok for the real information, because that's where you get the real information. Because that's where the people do the videos. They do the deep dives. They make these really fun videos, and they get all the information. And now I'm in the Annabelle rabbit hole. Annabelle said, F around and find out. 100%. 100%. What? It's still out here in Pennsylvania? The 911 is still out? That was Friday. Today's Thursday. Oh. I recommend that you do not go see Annabelle, but that's totally up to you. I don't know. Is there a new movie coming out? Because, is Annabelle trying to promote the new movie? No. I looked for them last night. There's like 3, and then there's one called Annabelle. There's like 4 in a row. I mean, there's like 4 movies out. Going back to like the early aughts, I think. Let's look it up now. Now I need to know. Now I need to go to IMDb and figure this out, because I have questions. Conjuring. So the original Conjuring, 2013, Conjuring 2, 2016. Okay. There's a movie in post-production right now called Conjuring Last Rites. I mean, it's in post. When is it supposed to be released? September 5th of 2025. Stop it. Be in trouble. You know everything. And that's wild. Was Annabelle in Texas for the floods? I don't know. We got to talk about the get the dates on the tour. Listen, I believe. So I'm not disparaging anyone. I did not want to invoke Annabelle at all. But also there's a movie called Annabelle. Well, there's a couple of them. So is that a different series of movies? There's Annabelle 2014, Annabelle Comes Home in 2019, Annabelle Creation in 2017. Is that a different series than The Conjuring? I love horror movies. I have ever since I was a kid. And I was a kid reading like Stephen King novels this thick until like all hours of the night. They're all Conjuring movies? Same cast and stuff? Let me just see. Annabelle. That's Warner Brothers. Oh, the rabbit hole. The same universe. Okay. All right. Annabelle got her own spinoff. Okay. All right. Sounds great. The Conjuring had the approval of Lorraine Warren. Is Lorraine Warren still living? Okay. I think I'm going to be able to getting further into this as well. You were right, though. Be in trouble. There's one coming out in September. Oh, the Coldplay CEO. Do you guys know about this case? Oy. Well, I guess if you're going to cheat, the lesson is don't cheat in front of a Jumbotron. Hang on. Because a COO maybe and a CPO, Chief People Officer, isn't that like head of the HR? Yeah, the HR chief and the CEO of a company were caught on Jumbotron at the Coldplay concert, like making out, and they're both married to other people. So, I mean, what do I think about it? I don't really know. But it's a problem. And if you look at the video, see if I can find the actual video of it. He yeah, this is crazy. He gets really mortified, and then it's obvious that they're having an affair. Like, it's obvious. Horrible. What a horrible way to find out, huh? If you haven't seen it, look for that story. Because it's wild. There's a company called Astronomer, I think, or something. Coldplay Kiss Cam zeroes in on mortified tech CEO Andy Byron and alleged HR chief mistress Kristen Cabot. And here they are at the Coldplay show. And then they're going to look at them up here on the, oh, wait, we got to rewind. Got to rewind. Hang on. Whoops. Watch the Jumbotron. Here's the Jumbotron. Let's see.
Oh, look at these two. Either they're having an affair or they're just very shy.
Uh-oh. Either they're having an affair
I'm not quite sure what to do. Get me drunk with you?
or they're very shy. Yeah, that is like walk of shame. A kiss cam moment broadcast at a Coldplay concert. Well, the title, of course, in New York Post true fashion is now they got to face the music. Struck a scandalous note when it apparently exposed a cheating tech tycoon and his head of HR mistress, as the band's frontman Chris Martin mused that they must be having an affair. And then they're identified. Astronomer CEO. I mean, really, this is the woman in charge of HR. She's having an affair with the CEO. Come on, man. Come on. It was at Gillette Stadium in Boston on Wednesday night, too. Wow. You just can't make it up. Here's some still photos. There they are, looking cozy. And then he quickly ducks and runs for cover. And that's terrible. And it's embarrassing. And shame on them. And what the duck. And what's wrong with people? Gigi says, if the daddy was so concerned about his child, why did he meet her at the park? Have the child taken then? Exactly. That's what I think he planned to do. And why didn't he? Talk about a cold play. Well done, KPT. Mary, thank you for your super sticker. That's what I think he meant to do. Probably, Gigi, but why didn't he show up? I don't know. Who was giving him advice? This is back to Kelsey Fitzsimmons. And now she's fighting for her life after 2 surgeries and being shot in the chest by her friend in a hospital that is unknown. Amy Doublehead Jarvis says, I wonder if they offered incident debriefing with counselors, retired 911 dispatcher here. It's imperative to all involved. Yeah. Blue-eyed Jen Bear says, I had a stuffed Miss Piggy come alive and growl. Life goes on. I think Park Walk was a ruse to get her and the baby out of the house and served publicly at a known location. For some reason, the plan changed. Would like to know why. Interesting thought. Thank you for your super chat. Blue-eyed Jen, stage doesn't work. My parents were in deliverance ministry 30 years, hired to get rid of demons. What? I had a stuffed Miss Piggy come alive, growl. We threw it in the dumpster, came back pounding on our front door. What? I thought you were joking. But apparently your parents were in a deliverance ministry for 30 years. What? Thank you for 10. Jan Mike became a member. Welcome. Sorry, this week we got into the crazy stuff. Yeah, for Kelly also. Kelly says YouTube won't let me comment or super chat. Send me the link to your YouTube video, please. I mean, your YouTube channel. I don't know why this is happening to a lot of people. Winter Lotus became a member. Welcome. It might have been Nightbot getting in here. Maybe it's Annabelle. Maybe there was I don't know. It's just weird. Wendy says the Conjuring house was open for tours and paranormal research. The last owners became very aggressive, and there was a lot of controversy with local paranormal people, especially Jason Hawes from Ghost Hunters /Taps. Thank you, Wendy. If you're 20, I'm not going there. Listen, I've been to the Stanley Hotel. That place is freaking haunted. That's where, it's in Colorado in Estes Park, for those of you who don't know. Stanley Hotel is where Stephen King wrote The Shining. It is based on the Stanley Hotel. And I went up to that room. I took some pictures and I got some creepy stuff in the mirror. Like, it's real. I don't care what anybody says. Amy, Annabelle in San Antonio, May 17th and 18th. That's when Annabelle was in San Antonio. Before the floods. Thank you for looking that up. Is anybody going to the Is anybody going to the tour, to the Annabelle tour? Have you been at to the tour? Please, if you did go to the tour and you saw the show, please comment in the comments and let me know what it was like. She set the floods in motion, says Emily C. Emily, are you a believer too? It's room 237, Be in Trouble. I went there. I wasn't staying in the hotel. Kind of snuck up there with my camera. Took some pictures. It's crazy. Kelly went and saw Annabelle and other of the Warrens' relics. So creepy. Do not recommend. Energy is so heavy as soon as you walk in the room. Here's some of the pictures. I'm afraid to pull up the pictures, Kelly. But also, email me the link to your YouTube channel because you're not the only one. Okay. Absolutely. Hang on. All right. We're doing it. Cupcakes, we're doing it. I got an email from someone whose last name is Fitzsimmons and said, could you please help Kelsey heal and share her Give Send Go? How could I say no? Her Give Send Go is up to $1,520. We can do better. Not only are we going to free Aaron Spencer, we're going to help Kelsey Fitzsimmons right now. I'm glad I saw this before I went off because usually I don't read my emails while I'm on stream. But here's the Give Send Go for Kelsey Fitzsimmons. Help Kelsey heal. I'm going to pin it to the chat right now. And then I'll put it in the show notes later. And I'm so glad that the family is watching. I've reached out to Tim Bradl because he said he was willing to do interviews and he's been real busy, I guess. I know he's been real busy, but he did say that he wants to come on to talk about not only Kelsey, but also Turtle Boy, and that he loves my show. So I love Tim Bradl, and we want to help Kelsey. And $1,500 is not going to go very far. But hang on. I'm going to pin it to the chat. Let's go. I'll read it to you. It's $10,000 goal. They've raised $1,520. Help Kelsey heal. Kelsey is a caring, devoted mother who has always put her baby boy first. Kelsey's baby boy is only 4 months old and is her pride and joy. Kelsey has unfortunately been battling with postpartum depression and has done and is doing everything she can to heal and recover. In the process of healing, Kelsey was met with a mother's worst nightmare, having her baby taken away from her while being served a restraining order full of false narratives and self-serving allegations. Hashtag help Kelsey heal. Thank you. Let's do that. Let's just take this down because it doesn't have to do with this. Hold on. During this already extremely tragic incident where she needed compassion and help, she was met with deadly force and gunfire to her chest. She has undergone multiple surgeries due to her injuries, and she has a long road of recovery as she sits in the hospital today. She now needs extensive support to heal physically and emotionally. We are raising funds to help cover a variety of expenses, such as Kelsey's household bills while she is unable to work, and to assist her parents as they take time away from their jobs to care for her full time. Your donation will go directly toward household bills and living expenses, medical costs and therapy for her recovery, travel and time costs for her family so they can be by her side and support her, experts, investigators, and legal incidentals. Every dollar helps Kelsey get closer to her healing and having the healthy future she deserves. Thank you so much for your kindness, generosity, and compassion during this difficult time. Please share if you can. Get on it, cupcakes. Get on it. Don't super chat me. Super chat Kelsey Fitzsimmons. She's fighting for her life. There's been multiple. She's had multiple surgeries. We started the stream, it was 1,520. I know you guys are out there and I know you can do it and I know you love to help. Because so often we sit here and we feel so helpless. Because what can we do? What can we do? That's what we can do. M169, I'm behind on Super Chat, says, I'm baffled by people who say they believe in angels that scoff at demons. No such thing as a one-sided coin. You're right. I love you guys. You guys are the best. And the most generous. And you're amazing. The link is pinned to the top of the chat. I think this email is from her dad. I'm not quite sure. Or maybe her brother. I'm not quite sure, but we will talk and we will find out. And I'm also going to put it in the show notes below because I have not even done the show notes here yet. So let's help Kelsey. Help Kelsey Heal. Wait. And, you know, she's also been suspended from her job. It didn't say if she was suspended without pay or with pay, but what do you think? I don't know. I don't know. I know there's a collective. I'm sure she's entitled to a hearing and all that stuff. And it's tragic. All right. Now it is also in the show notes below this video. Yeah. Talk and have them on the channel to help spread the word. Yes. There's a statement from the cheating CEO. Really? Of course there is. Here's a statement. I want to acknowledge the moment that's been circulating online and the disappointment it's caused. Really? Disappointment? If you have kids and what was supposed to be a night of music and joy turned into a deeply personal mistake playing out on a very public stage. I want to sincerely apologize to my wife, my family, and the team at Astronomer. You deserve better from me as a partner, as a father, and as a leader. This is not who I want to be or how I want to represent the company I helped build. I'm taking time to reflect, to take accountability, and to figure out the next steps personally and professionally. I ask for privacy as I navigate is he going to go to rehab for is he going to go to rehab for a sex addiction? Because that's what they all do. I also want to express how troubling it is that what should have been a private moment became public without my consent. I respect artists and entertainers, but I hope we can all think more deeply about the impact of turning someone else's life into a spectacle. As a friend once sang, wow, and then he quotes Coldplay. You can't make this up. As a friend once sang, quote, lights will guide you home and ignite your bones, and I will try to fix you. XOXO. Andy. I'm sorry. You're blaming Chris Martin for putting you on the Jumbotron? You moron. Wow. All right. Let's help Kelsey Heal. Love you guys. Thanks to the moderators for being here twice today. Happy anniversary to me. Lots of Irish love. Thank you, Andrea Collins, for being with me for 11 months. Yeah, what a narcissist, gonna narcissist, right? I mean, really, did you expect anything less from that guy? Thank you, Dennis, for your Venmo. He says, send a female. Send someone with compassion, not 3 male cops who seem to be mocking her, losing her job, gun, and baby. Thank you. All right. Thank you to the moderators for keeping it classy today. We did a long show this morning and then a shorter one this afternoon, but there were so many things to talk about Thank you, Rose, for your matcha latte. Says, I love your wisdom and spunk. I agree. Any father would have protected his daughter. That's going back to the morning stream on Aaron Spencer. And you guys are awesome. It wasn't me. Yeah, that's what he's like. It wasn't me. Imagine me, first of all, being caught at a Coldplay concert in and of itself. Yeah. The fact that he quoted Coldplay, like the statement is, where's the statement? What a great day of kindness and fighting for justice. That's what we're here for, Deanne, right? It was sent to me as a screenshot. So wait, let me see where it was first published. Hold on. Let me see if I can find it. I mean, I kind of think it was probably on Twitter, but I don't know. Oh, and then before the incident, a LinkedIn post from Andy praised Kristen for her leadership and experience. The post has now been removed. What? Oh, how did that get pinned? What happened? Did I unpin? Did I not pin the right link? Did I do that? Oy. Or did that just like, did Annabelle do that? Hold on. Oh, here it is. It's on the Astronomer Twitter account. I guess. But maybe they're not allowing replies. So somebody just like screenshotted it. So hang on. Statement from our CEO, Andy Byron. Let me start by apologizing to my family, my wife, and our wonderful employees. Oh, but they don't have the Coldplay quote there. So I'm not sure. It's the doll. Okay, we have to just call it the doll. I feel really bad for their kids too. And Super Chat won't work for you either. Send me, I'm telling you, it's happened to a lot of people. Send me an email the link to your YouTube channel, not your username, the link to your actual channel. Even if you do not post anything on it, you have an actual channel. All right, let's go back here. Oh, this is Spencer. Hang on. So we have Spencer up from earlier this morning. That's up to $19,579 because you guys are awesome. And let's look at Kelsey's. Look at that. It's already up to $3,500 out of a $10,000. Cheers. CEO posted the same. We just looked at it. If you're using pop-out chat, you cannot super chat from the pop-out. Okay, that's interesting to know. Thank you. All we do is sit here and talk and we raise money. I mean, it's crazy. Suze, where'd you get that from, Suze? Because I just saw the Astronomer website, but the Astronomer Twitter, but they didn't have like the part about with the Coldplay quote. I mean, my God, man. Coldplay Gate is trending. I mean, it's crazy. Oh, Young Jerks also posted it on Twitter, so you can find it there. All right, you guys, thank you. It's been a very long day because this is our second stream of the day because we're here to free everyone and help people. And if I have a platform, I'm going to use it to help free some people. Thank you, moderators, for keeping it classy today. It is not always easy. At least one person had to go to Block Island today. Stay cool, stay kind, stay classy, and all the good things. We're here for Kelsey Fitzsimmons, and we're here for Aaron Spencer, and we ain't got no quit. We're not going to shut up about it. Mr. Fitzsimmons, I will reach out to you. Stay cool, stay kind, stay classy. And if you live in Massachusetts or Arkansas, stay safe. Peace, my friends. If I go live tomorrow, it won't be until the afternoon. So make sure you have notifications set to all and make sure that you have subscribed and that you're not unsubscribed by YouTube because it's been glitchy and or the doll. Peace, my friends. I'm going to see you real soon. Bye.